Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and you join us at Super Bowl Sunday for a battle in the Southern One. Get your American football fix early, as we have the Brunel Burners looking to cap off a season undefeated, going up against the Brighton Panthers, who are looking to spoil the party. What a game it has been, and what a season it's been for Brunel. Now, Teb's here alongside
Kwame.
Kwame's here, former Brunel Burner himself. How do you think this season has gone for the Brunel Burners?
I think it's been an interesting start to the season, to be honest. They came out all guns blazing, big scoreline here, big scoreline there, 55 points up there, 40 odd, however many points over there. But the past few games have been a bit tense, and it'd be interesting to see, have the Burners lost a bit of their way this season, or are they just sort of seeing things through and making sure they get the win, not really worrying about the score? It'll be interesting to see how they get on today.
I've been quite vocal in my worrying about the Brunel scorelines, as they've been getting shorter and shorter. Obviously, last week, what was it? 10-0, not last week.
10-0 last game round.
They beat Brighton, I believe, 11-8.
Very tight one there.
Also, Reading 8-0. You know, it's worrying me come the playoffs. Obviously, they're going to be facing down some tough competition. They're making the playoffs. We know 100%
this. Made the playoffs.
Obviously,
top two seeds potentially confirmed.
Unless there's an upset from Bristol over Bournemouth, I don't think the Burners will be taking the number one seed. I think that will be going to the Bobcats themselves.
I don't think the Burners will be too worried about seeding, to be honest. In my years playing, we've always been a team that says, make sure we make the playoffs. If we make the playoffs and win our division, that's at least one home game confirmed in the playoffs, and the rest of it is whatever happens, really. We've had number one seed and it's not worked out well, so I think the Burners have that knowledge of, doesn't matter what seed we have, we're in the playoffs and we will give it 100%.
So the Brighton Panthers win the toss. They will be receiving. I mean, I've been worried with these short scorelines. I was all thinking to myself, Brunel, they're the top seed for promotion. These short scorelines, they're getting me a little bit worried. But let's be honest, right now, Brighton, last week, their game against Oxford, I was expecting something more. I was expecting something a little... Sorry, SJ's just walking around with me. I was personally expecting a little bit more from Brighton. I had them as a team that, I feel like their scorelines weren't great. Obviously, with Oxford, it doesn't seem like that second game with the Lancers is going to get played, which is a shame. But again, 30-0 for the Panthers, lost to the Lancers. I just didn't. I thought that game would be a lot closer.
It's a bit of a letdown when you look at the score, to be honest. But I mean, Brighton being 2-4 at the moment, they've had two blowout losses, the 43-0 to Hearts and the 30-0 to Oxford last week. But the season is still alive. They're safe from relegation. They've beaten the Reading Knights twice. The Reading Knights are confirmed to go down. And there's still an outside chance that the Brighton Panthers could get into the playoffs. Granted, they'd have to win today, and they'd have to replay that game against Oxford, and they'd have to win it by quite a big scoreline. But potentially, it's still on the cards for them.
I mean, it's going to take a lot. They've got until this Wednesday to play that game. And, I mean, from what I hear, it doesn't seem like that game is going to be getting replayed, but I think obviously it's going to set Brighton up nicely for the second half of the season. Big kick from Brunel. And obviously, ladies and gentlemen, now, there's some good blocking going on.
Got number 2 making his way up the left hand, up the right
down
hand side.
There, number 2 of the Panthers. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we've had this problem before when we've covered the Brighton Panthers. When their numbers get, more than maybe 20 feet away, they are very difficult to see, but we're going to try our hardest. But Rex hard in there, getting the ball out to what looks like the 23-yard line.
Be interesting to see here, because obviously with the Burners having low score lines, starting with the defence, it'd be a good first possession for the Brighton Panthers to get something on the board or maybe drive down the field. But for the Burners, they're looking to really force a 3 and out, get some good field position and get a score up early doors.
The last time we were here, the Oxford Lancers, they scored on their first possession of the entire game. It was looking like it was going to be a close one. The Burners came back and absolutely stamped them. Are we going to see that again? Going to number 31, but oh my lord, and just completely flattened there.
Gets brought down by quite a few. Jerry Addo in there in the middle, stopping that run, number 55. Big dangerous player he is.
Cardoso, number 31, he did have a turn of speed heading into the line, but he's going to be knocked back behind the line of scrimmage by a single yard. So, as a former Brunel Burner, do you think this is finally the year that the Premiership beckons them?
I think we've been saying this every year. We've been saying this every year since, 2018?
Got a
And
man in motion. Goes to 31 again. Got some better yardage there. But
he makes a couple of yards, maybe about 2 yards, and then brought down by number 33, Donald Orungo.
again,
With the
two
black and
plays,
gold
two
helmet.
handoffs to Cardoso.
Right up the middle.
Going to have a gain of 2, so they're looking at a 3rd and 9. I mean, the Brighton Panthers, they're known for being a very run-heavy squad. Not ideal when you're facing down a 3rd and 9.
Not ideal against the Brunel Burners as well, who are very good at stopping the run.
So an orbit motion. Gives it to 31 again. Cardoso runs through, going to pick up some yardage, but 31 for the Burners. Wraps him up.
Wraps him up now.
Yeah, so
Davide Pinto. It looks like the Brighton Panthers are very set on trying to establish the run here. Now, I was looking earlier at this number 84 versus number 19 matchup, Woodstock versus Kith. And I was looking at him, and the QB looked like he was looking at him as well. It looked like they could potentially go for a throw on that 3rd down play, but they forced the punt. Now it'd be a good opportunity for Brunel Burners to get some good yards here with Jamoy Stewart-Sinclair up to return this punt.
Good long snap. Bit of a shorter punt than you'd like, but I mean there's some space from Brunel, but brought down there to Panthers. Getting number 10 there. Looks like there could be some yellow laundry. There's certainly some extracurriculars.
Some after activities, but
I mean the Southern one, you're sort of known for this, I feel like.
Always some action in this division. I think the Burners are going to be happy to be in this division and not in the southeast, which is quite far. They had a lot of long journeys. I remember that.
It does feel like almost yesterday that the Burners were competing with the likes of the Essex Blades and
Queen Mary Vipers
and the QMBL Vipers, who we believe did win their game today. So good on them. It's not over for them. I thought it was over for them. I thought the southeast too was decided, but Kingston and City next week. It's all up for grabs there for who's going to be in the southeast one next year. We have obviously got some scorelines for you on this Super Bowl Sunday, but right now we're going to pay attention to the Brunel Burners offense, and you've got to say, looking at the scorelines over the last few games, not been as impressive as this first half of the season. I feel like
it'd be quite concerning if the Burners don't at least put up a couple of scores before half-time, given they've had one big game against each team. Potentially one big scoreline and one tight scoreline. They've had a tight scoreline already against these guys. Is a handoff to Bannerhead straight up the middle, has a little crease and gets brought down by quite a few Panthers, not before getting himself past the Brighton 40-yard line going in, and he's close to a first down. The chains are moving. That's a first down.
Downs mean one play, one first down. I mean, you can't have a better start than that.
It's already more than Brighton, and it looks to me like Bannerhead has some fire in his eyes, ready to run up the middle and down the field.
I mean, last time we were here, Jelinski was slinging that ball around. I want to see some more of that, but as you can see, it's quite a wet field today, so Jelinski under centre. I've completely lied. They're going to motion out there.
Looks like they are going to throw the ball a little bit more today.
So here we go. I've called it. Jelinski with a... And just over the head of number 14.
Just out of the reach of Jean Camara there.
Oh God, I shouldn't be trying to root for these teams, but again, the first game with Oxford, it was just great. As we can see here, SJ. Please don't kick it towards camera.
Football.
So SJ, one of the hosts on the rundown, he is clean. He is cleaning the balls today. SJ loves cleaning the balls.
SJ loves cleaning balls. How does he clean balls?
Well, he's got a towel, and he's giving those balls a good rub.
Yeah, just getting his hands in there, getting his knuckles in there, giving them a good old.
Also tackling all the creases. So 2nd and 10 for the Brunel Burners. I mean,
play this back to him.
Yeah, no problem.
No. Interesting. A couple of these shifts reminded me of Bristol Aztecs.
We've got a bunch of trips. Very, very close. 9 in motion. Oh,
another shift,
love
to counter. Play action here.
Jelinski's got it. Almost brought down, but he fires. Apologies. Good on Jelinski to be able to stay on his feet there, because he had a Panther wrapped around his arm.
Especially on this turf as well, it'd be easy to lose your footing. So great effort to stay up, and not so great with the incompletion.
I will say, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to watch this, I imagine the middle of the field, turn very, very muddy. I imagine this is going to turn into slightly swampy.
I mean, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but if you look close, quite clearly, yeah, you can see it on the camera. But if you look closely, it's already turning brown in the middle of the field, especially around midfield.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Just that little, there's a little ring.
Yes,
you can just see a brown ring.
Yeah, that's classic Britball though, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
a day like today, it's windy, not raining. We hope, and yeah, just very, very moist. 3rd and 10 for the Burners. 2 pass plays, 2 incompletions for Brunel. They're going to go back to the air. Zielinski's going to throw a bomb. He's looking for 5. And he has got it.
Into the end zone
And
for the
just like
touchdown.
that, it's a touchdown for the Brunel Burners.
Now, just a second ago, I was going to say they better want to run this if they're going to get that first down, give it back to Bannerhan and have him run into that little space that there was. But he found his man. He found his man over the top, Retnam with the sure hands, and it's currently 6 to Brunel.
I mean, that just shows the faith that the Brunel Burners coaching staff have in Zielinski, that 2 incomplete passes, throw the 3rd, hey, touchdown, 6 points on the board for the Burners.
And already up there. First drive, not more than 5 plays maybe, into the end zone. And that's a perfect start for the Brunel Burners, forcing a 3 and out, going for the 2, finding a little bit of space on the outside, and Retnam's going to make his way into the end zone for the extra 2 points.
And now it's, 8 points on the board, considering that the scoreline last time was 11 to 8. I mean, they're basically already there.
Already
They've
there
matched
pretty much.
their points total against the Brighton Panthers
And they'll be looking to get more than another 3 points for the rest of the game. I think already first play, first drive, first score, they'll be looking to
SJ,
force that ball
about
back and get
What do you
another
mean? What do you
possession.
think about that score?
That's good. Good start.
Okay.
Good start.
Thank you, mate. You having fun cleaning balls there, mate?
It's like a nice ball. Nice ball.
Don't swear on camera, SJ, mate.
He'll be suspended. It's not nice being
But I mean,
suspended.
Again, I just really like, they've obviously got confidence in their QB, do the Burners. And I mean, everything that I've seen of Christian Zielinski has been spectacular. So it just sort of begs the question, what was going on in these last couple of games? Because, I mean, if you look at the offense that we've just seen, you think that they've been cooking on all cylinders all season long.
100%. And it begs the question, is it because of the Brighton defense? Are they just not woken up today, or are Brunel Burners really on fire today? It remains a question that we will find out soon. Let's see how this kickoff goes. Let's see how the return team goes. It's most likely going to Connor Woodstock, number 84 here on the far side, down at the 5-yard line. And we'll see how the Brighton Panthers offense can get on.
I tell you what, I really love the playing football on a Super Bowl Sunday. I always loved it when I was at uni. Oh, what a ball. That's going to sail over the head.
My word, look at Jerry Addo. Look how hungry that man is. Bulldozing his way up the middle. The ball was out, the ball was gone, and you could hear him. You could hear the footsteps, and you could hear him breathing down on the defenders.
So here we are, the second Brighton Panthers offensive drive of the day.
Be interesting, we've got a few danger men, number 66. Big Marvus Ansele. And number 84, CJ Woodstock, both on the GB picture. Remains to be seen if they can get the ball into Woodstock's hands. He's probably, arguably, their danger man on this offense here, as he makes a motion inside.
Fletcher Moore in the backfield. QB's going to look to take it himself. There is some space there. He's got Moore as a blocker. And he still stays up. This is impressive from the QB of the Brighton Panthers. I mean,
Justin definitely makes at least 20 yards, 25 yards on that gain there.
That is nothing short of impressive. Charlie Brooker. I mean, but also great blocking from Moore as well.
I'd say the tackling from the Brunel Burners wasn't so strong, to be honest. There was quite a few guys that had in a position to make a tackle and just sort of got bullied out of the way.
And it's
19, Nigel Kidd went flying in
and we do have an injury
and just
and
bounced off him.
that is Fletcher Moore, who did have some pretty decent blocks there on that QB run. He's over on the Brunel sideline. I believe that he's injured, or I can't imagine he's just lost, but I believe he is out injured. Now this for me is where it gets a little bit scary for the Brighton Panthers. David Julius, number 7. I mean, when that man has a lane, he is a runaway train, and he's in the backfield now for Brighton.
Probably another one of their danger men, another potential you could give the ball to, as he does get the ball now, finds his way up the B gap and gets completely battered.
And that is David Julius football right there.
Quite a few guys are in there. Again, there was Jerry Addo, number 55, Tyrese Peters-Tovey, number 0, was in there with the hand. A fun statistic, we've got Tyrese written down twice on this roster. Got number 0 and number 52.
Well, I mean, I plugged that roster into ChatGPT, so it's their fault. So Julius in motion, and that ball bobbles along the floor. Brooker has still got it. He's making some moves, and I mean, given how disastrous that could have been, I mean, the fact that Brooker was able to get his hands on it, going to be a loss of 3, so they are going to have now a 3rd and 11. But I mean.
Again, that's another sack from Brunel Arungo. Really taking these Panthers back.
I mean, but this is it, right? Is you look at these short Brunel scorelines, and sometimes you could say, oh, this team's not very good. That's a defensive battle. The Brunel Burners they're a defensive team.
Always been a defensive team. Since I was playing, I've always known the Burners to have one of the meanest defenses in the country. You know, we've had some serious talent on this defense in the past.
8-4 in motion, high ball. And that just, I mean, that ball was so high there was no way that the receiver was going to have enough time to make a move there.
No time to bring it down. Isaac Maillard did not give him any time. As soon as he made the catch and came down, he was flying in there. Textbook technique, brings the receiver down, and that's 4th down. Again, another opportunity for the Brunel Burners to come out and return this ball. 2 returners back, Jean Kamara and Jamoy Stewart-Sinclair.
So 4th and 13. Looks like Brunel are missing a man. Oh, and that bounces off number 34 on the line for Brunel.
Credit to Woodstock for trying to make something out of that. You know, he turned it into a little bit less of a disaster, but I mean, there was nowhere he could go with that, to be fair.
And the Brunel Burners are going to have some excellent field position coming into their 2nd offensive drive of the day.
Which just reminds me now, this is Brighton's first trip to Uxbridge since that fateful day in November 2018. Unfortunately for them, they lost 43-3.
Were you playing that game?
I was playing that game. I was not fully fit, so I wasn't playing that game, but I was there. I was playing. I had reps on the field. I think that was the game after I'd done my knee. But anyways.
What was your main position at uni? Were you DB or receiver?
Started off at running back, played there for about 5 years, and then wanted to change. I said, do you know what? I don't like the brown, nasty muddiness in the middle of the field. Let me have some fun and play DB.
So Jelinski's rolling out. He's looking for a short sparrow. He's got it to number 5.
Tyrese Rettenham again finds his way into the red zone down at the 18-yard line, bullies his way past the defender. Number 37 couldn't quite stop him from getting into the red zone.
I mean, nothing long and lofty there, but just an absolute rocket pass.
Now this wind is battering my eyes and I can just feel tears flying. So if I look like I'm crying, I'm not crying.
Are you just not sad that, or you're not crying tears of joy for your Brunel Burners, Kwame?
Tears of joy that my old alma mater has the ball in the red zone and looking to put the score up again and make this a 2 score game. I stand corrected.
It's a bit of a high snap there. Jelinski's got it. Hand off to 31.
Pinto.
It's going to be a gain of, I'm going to say maybe 2. I'm going to guess 2.
Pinto makes a couple of yards. Pinto run. 31, Davide Pinto.
Yeah, okay. I thought that's what you're going to do. Multiple conversations, ladies and gentlemen. So, second and... You saying 8 or 7?
I'd say 8.
I'd say 8 as well.
I'd say a good second and 8.
You think I think we'd got better at this by now. Like,
I think I'd learned from Mike.
yeah, Mike was the best at it, you know.
You can see lines from everywhere. I don't know how he managed to do it, but...
Okay, 14 in motion for the Burners. Jelinski's got it, he drops back. He's going to try and take it himself, but he's surrounded by some Panthers. Number 20, oh, I want to say 25, but...
Looks like 22 to me.
We'll go with 22. I think you're right, I think it is 22. Again, I do like a purple and black colour scheme, but it's so difficult to read.
That's the question as well. Is that roster not in number... I know,
Is the roster in number order?
The number order is in alphabetical order.
Jelinski loses his hand warmer as I try and look for 22. Do you see 22? Because I don't.
I see a 21.
Okay, give me 1 second. I don't see 22 on there, do you?
We're going to have to make up his name.
Yeah, well, there's not a 22. So whoever the 22 was, great play. So got a bunch trips on the left-hand side for the Burners.
In the backfield.
And Jelinski's going to step up again, fires it to number 2, and that is going to be a touchdown for the Brunel Burners.
Isaiah Dean Joseph. Almost the same play again. Seam up the middle, uncovered, receiver, finds him at the 5-yard line, and he's able to just waltz his way into the end zone, completely untouched.
I mean, again, it's now 14-0. Last scoreline, 11-8. They're blowing it out of the water.
It looks like the Burners could potentially be back to their old ways.
It looks like the Burners are back. I mean, it's going to be good going into the playoffs to have this momentum. Obviously, we've still got one more week of football in week 14, but primarily it's D2 and then that return match between the Bullets and the Gold.
Be good for them to get a rest now. Good snap, good kick.
And it is
Looked
good.
like it just clipped the upright and was in. I could hear that little clip.
I mean, absolutely perfect.
15. They've already outscored themselves the last 2 times they faced the Brighton Panthers. They managed to hold the Brunel Burners to 11 points the last game and 6 points the game before that.
I mean, I did speak to SJ and head coach James, basically asking, please, can you put some points on the board today?
Please put some points on the board.
Please.
Well, there's 15 of them.
Let's check in with one of the men himself. How's your day going?
It's going well.
It's the Cambridge United fan.
No.
Got some questions now. How are we looking so far? Putting some points on the board for the Brunel Burners, looking a lot more than last time. The last time the Brunel Burners played the Brighton Panthers, they only put 11 points on. The previous time they only put 6 points on. So what seems different this time?
We made a couple changes. Different personnel. Just changed things up a bit in terms of plays. Seems to be working so far, but like I said, it's a long game. Yeah, Kwame, you were here for as much as I was. You know how these games go here.
I remember some days it gets frustrating, especially on this surface here. So yeah, it can get frustrating. It can be interesting. We're still in the first quarter, 15-0, and
No, Super Bowl Sunday, mate. I don't know what you expect.
makes to be
Good
seen
games.
what can be done afterwards. No, this kick not as strong, but still rolls its way into the end zone. Number 2's going to leave that, as there are Burners coming flying in like a swarm of hornets towards this corner.
I was going to say something that might be a bit of a jinx, Kwame. No flags yet.
Good point.
A bit surprised
Good
by
point.
that, if I'm honest.
Good point.
But don't get me wrong, there's been some extracurriculars already today, but no yellow laundry final, was there? No, there hasn't been. There hasn't been.
I felt like there was, but there wasn't. I think it was a jersey. We
Yes.
thought there was a flag, but the yellow
I'm
jerseys
going to
just
turn around.
look like.
Do you think there's been any flags yet? I don't think so.
There's one flag for the extracurricular.
What was there?
Yeah, have that scrap.
Apparently there was.
I thought you'd mentioned there was a flag, but I couldn't see a flag, so I thought there was just no flag.
I don't remember going to ref. So David Julius has got it again.
Absolutely taken down by a couple of burners. Justice Okolo, Hakeem Adeji was in there. So was another man too.
I mean, I can't imagine the amount of force it's generated when Julius and one of these Brunel D tackles collides. I'm surprised that more people don't go flying from the impact of the shockwave. But Julius is still in. 2nd and 10, 4.
It's crazy to say this, but this is probably one of the smaller Brunel defensive linemen I've seen over the years.
Excuse me.
That says a lot.
I don't believe you. So Brooker fires one off there, looking for 86.
Oh.
And I tell you what,
I
think that was closer than Brunel probably would have liked.
A lot closer than Brunel would have liked. I think the defense there from Adam Rice, 86 got fingertips onto it, and I swear I remember his name, but I've forgotten his name. Now, there were fingertips on that ball, and I don't think Brunel would like that. It was too close for their liking. I think from
German Dari.
Thank you.
Number 86.
I think there'll be an earful in the defensive backs' ears coming up for the next few plays. Make sure that they don't get open.
So I've got trips on the left-hand side for the Panthers.
It's going to bring them back another 5 yards.
I mean, if there wasn't any flags yet in the game, there's some flags now.
Well done for jinxing it. Now, speaking of, even though it was a false start, I didn't see a flag actually get thrown.
No, neither did I, actually.
So technically speaking, there aren't any flags.
Actually, that's a very, very good point.
There's been a false start, but the referee didn't officially throw it. I mean, he called it, but yeah, we've not seen a flag as per se. Third and 15. QB looks in his pocket, throws one out wide, and it's incomplete in the direction of number 18, Adam Rice with the defense, and that brings up 4th down. Brighton Panthers are going to be looking to punt now, get that ball away and get some decent field position, force the Burners into their own territory.
So again, nothing offensively really happening here for the Brighton Panthers. And I mean, when I did my mid-season grades, I said that the Brighton Panthers were the best 1-3 team in Uniball. And I mean, it's difficult to really have that feeling now. Obviously, they're not 1-3 anymore. But I really thought that we might see a better showing from Brighton, especially against Oxford. I mean, I can't. So that takes a Brunel bounce. Oh my lord!
It was a bad punt. It didn't go very far, and it just looks to me like the Brighton Panthers are digging themselves deeper and deeper into a hole that they can't get out of.
I mean, let's be honest. When the game started, the wind wasn't too bad. The wind now, it's not ideal.
The wind is not ideal because this sheet that I'm holding is flying around.
I'm sure you can hear that. I can sure you hear the what do they call those?
These laminated folded sheets. Yeah. You know the ones you put the bits of paper inside.
Yeah, and then you put them in the folder. Again, great idea from Kwame because just in case it rains, but
it's horrendous. Now, if I could clip this down to the table and just sit here, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, we've got a table now, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about that?
Blanket. I'd bring the table in front of the camera, but I wouldn't want to disturb this play.
No, we're here for football, not for IKEA reasons.
1st and 10 for the Brunel Burners. Jelinski in shotgun, Bannerhead in the backfield. Retnam goes in motion. Jelinski hands off to Bannerhead up the middle and squeezes his way forward for a couple of yards gain.
Not too much there. I mean, gain of 2 on the play. But I mean, given how good the passing offense has been for Brunel, you've got to give something to the running attack.
100%. The running started off strong. First run, 10, 11 yards. Gets the first down, and then they went to the throws, a couple of incompletions. Then found the touchdown, and it's an eagle.
A massive bird.
It's a foreshadowing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Saquon, all I care about. Going to get into it. So 2nd and 8 now for the Brunel Burners. Another handoff. No, it's not. I've been faked out.
You know, it's a good job when the commentators get faked out. And that one went out wide to.
It does happen. I'm hoping. I'm going to turn to my cameraman. I'm going to see if he got faked out. Did you get faked out? No, because he's a professional.
Yeah, it didn't get faked out or he's lying. One or the other.
But I mean, they're just a bit too much on that throw. I think the wind may have got it. Brighton were able to swarm, and again, no real gain here for Brunel.
It's going to be third and 9, third and 8, third and 9.
As we're approaching this third and 9, I think we should look forward to next year. I mean, I think the Brighton Panthers are going to be a much more dominant force next year. That's what I feel. I mean, their first year back up in D1. Realistically, when it's your first year back up in D1, for me anyway, I think your main objective is to survive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Swansea this year. Swansea, they're going straight back down. They went up, straight back down.
Swansea used to be a Premier
They
Division
certainly
team.
did.
They had a double relegation, went back up, went back down again.
Yeah, and this time, you know, I think they've scored 2 points all season. Not
That's
ideal.
ridiculous.
So it looks like it's going to be the end of the queue.
And I think one thing that people need to consider as well is that when a team goes up, a lot of the time, especially if they have a lot of final year players, have a big class, a really strong class that sticks together, they all graduate together, and then the next year you've got a lot of players to replace. Now some teams can do this over and over again. They can recruit really well.
Yeah.
We've seen how teams like, for example, UE in the Prem, Nottingham in the Prem, SGS also in the regional Prem. We've seen teams be able to recruit year after year after year, and we've seen teams come through with strong classes that compete for a few years, and then they graduate and the team struggles for a while, and then they have to recruit again.
But I mean, realistically, if we tie this back into Brunel, you look at the Burners. How many times have they been in the playoffs successively? It's them and Hallam that have been, you know, in the playoffs successfully. Okay, Jelinski dodges one man. He's got space, dodges another. Flag on the play. Could have a block in the back or a holding call. But, I mean, the vision of Jelinski has managed to save him slightly there, but a flag on the play. I think this is going to be on the Brunel Burners.
This would be potentially a holding play. Now, I didn't quite catch who was given the holding, but there were a few guys from the Brighton Panthers that managed to get through the line. One guy got through the line and just got completely put on skates. Another guy got sent to Asda. Another guy was being held.
So
and all of a sudden...
So blocking the back for the Brunel Burners.
That was probably the guy who...
got sent to Asda.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, you've got to look at it in terms of teams that, like, can have continued success over... You know, because really 3 years, 4 years, that's a cycle. But you go past 4 years and you're still successful. I mean, that's just a great program.
Shows a lot.
And you've got to say, the Brunel are one of them.
Now, I think there's one or two ways of going around this. You either recruit really, really well every year, which Brunel has started to do a lot better. And the other way is...
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. And that was almost money for number 93.
I think it was darted at the back of Rettenham's head. He wasn't quite ready for the ball. The ball bounced up. I was right in the breadbasket of a defender.
Stephen Afari, he was so close to having probably the highlight reel of his life, because I think he may have had a pick six there. He was so close to it. I mean, he's going to be beating himself up about it.
I think when they're sitting around waiting to, you know, chase the quarterback or blitzing through that line, and the ball just finds itself in your hands, it's almost like Christmas has come early. You don't even know what to expect. You're like, what is going on? But as I was saying, it's either that or it's they do a really good job of coaching the players up. You know, with the Brunel Burners, from my experience as well, this is fourth down, so they're punting. This is a first punt from the Brunel Burners. Rettenham to punt and Woodstock to return. Big high punt, and that looks like it's just going to be left. Poison
and that is a great punt. Looks to me to be down at the 4.
Great field position. Great punt from
14-yard line. Sorry, my mistake.
Great punt from the Brunel Burners and.
Oh, great. I mean, obviously they don't want to be punting there, but I mean, flag bringing them back, and also again, the confidence they have in Jelinski managing to give him these plays that are, you know, slightly risky. I mean, shows you've got some faith.
Jelinski is an example of someone who has been recruited very well. You know, he's probably been watched, analysed. They have, you know, they have data on him. They knew what they were looking for. They pulled the trigger. They signed him, and it's for him to come in straight after the previous quarterback, Regan Lee. We knew how much of a gunslinger he was. I played with him, and he is talented. He has bags of talent, and I know because a lot of Britball teams were trying to sign him towards the end. You know, he's obviously moved out. But a lot of guys were trying to sign him because they saw him as one of the biggest talents that wasn't signed in Britball. Now, to come and sign Jelinski straight after with no down years in between, nobody else, straight off the back, he's taken the same jersey number as well. They've not missed a beat.
So again, a 2 on the run play there for the Brighton Panthers. So Brooker looking, he makes a move, running right, got some time.
Ooh, makes a man miss.
Keep running. He's going to be down right around the stick, so it's interesting to see what our ref crew has in store.
It's number 0, Tyrese Peters-Tovey, brought him down. Made him miss the first time, but he managed to make the yards back and catch up with him again to bring him down.
I mean, I personally cannot wait for the Uni Ball playoffs to start. We've got some hot matches. Obviously, we don't know who's where yet. I think, will take shape probably actually tomorrow, I imagine, just because I don't think there's any D1 games on next Sunday. Don't quote me on that. I don't believe that there are. But I think we'll have a better picture of D1 and also the Prem today. If anyone has got any flag on the play, I will say, ladies and gentlemen,
just the second flag that we've actually seen on the ground now.
I think maybe because it's windy, and also I don't want to get confused with your dirty Steelers hat.
What are you talking about? There's a guy wearing a Ravens hat over there. Go spit on him.
I mean, if anyone has got any scores for the Portsmouth versus Birmingham game, I'm very interested in the outcome of that one. So please send them in if you've got them, because I want to see what happens at the end of that. Because I'm sure we'll pan to me at some point, but I'm wearing a hoodie that may potentially give away what I'm rooting for.
Now, makes me ask a question, because I've been thinking to ask this. I've been itching to ask this question all afternoon since I've seen you wearing this hoodie.
Oh, and QB trips and stumbles, and number 70 gets a hand on him, and what was a more successful drive there for the Brighton Panthers. Not with anything. Yes, what do you want to know?
Why are you wearing this hoodie with this particular team on there that I won't currently mention, but I'll leave it up to you if you want to mention it?
Because if we really want to deep it, it's throughout this season, I've been, slightly my love for the sport. They're going for a tush push here.
What in the world?
Number 10 jumps.
That ball was fumbled.
I want to have another look at that.
I saw that ball come out. It looked like it was fumbled on the snap, and who came up with it? Because I'm hearing Brunel's sideline. I'm
hearing that the QB fumbled it, but he did manage to get on top of it. Once again, this is going to be excellent field position for the Brunel Burners. Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, it's third down. I thought it was fourth down.
I thought it was. Going for a tush push on the second down.
Well, it says third down over there.
It'll be third now because they've fumbled the second one, isn't it?
No, there's no way they went for that on second.
I think they did. Either that or it was just a bad snap. But
Maris, did they go for that on second down? Okay. Okay, no forward yards is what I hear. I mean, these tush-push situations where the ball is very much uncovered, is covered, it does make it very, very difficult for the referees to make a ruling. But here we are.
We've had one game finish.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Looks like we're back to old days.
So they're going back again for it. Fourth down. First one was fumbled by the QB. 4th and 1 for Brighton.
And I don't think they made it. The Burners are celebrating like they've got the ball out, but...
I mean, there's some whistles there. We see David Julius running off to the right-hand side.
The Burners were celebrating as if
Oh, no, there's some extracurriculars once again happening.
Oh, where's the camera? There's a fight. Ooh. Now, this is fun
once again, I don't see any flags on the play, but this game is getting chippy.
This is fun to watch. Now I see one guy. Is it a coach with yellow gloves? It looked like they looked like there were flags. I didn't quite see any punches being thrown. I wanted to call it.
Let me walk round. No, that's one of the yard markers.
Doesn't look like it to me, but it looked to me that the Burners stopped the Panthers from getting that first down. They stopped them. The ball, I don't know, the whistle went and one of the players from the Panthers tried to run out with the ball, but the whistle had already gone.
Obviously here, the Brighton Panthers coaches, they think they've seen something. Obviously the head coach for Brunel also coming out. It seems to me like we're going to have a text-based or an audio explanation of what people think has happened, and the referees will make the decision based on that.
Do you think the referees can review? No, they can't. They can't.
No, they're not allowed to review. They're not allowed to review because I think they're allowed to review if every other team in the country is also allowed to review.
Okay.
I'm going to throw it to my camera people. What do you think happened there? Uh-huh. Okay. I'm going to relay that. So my camera people are saying that they think that there's a fumble, and they're trying to ascertain whether the fumble, if the person who had the fumble's knee was down or not, which is why I think David Julius then ran around the outside. But we're still waiting for a signal from our referees.
With it being a fumble on 4th down, would it not mean that only the player who fumbled can recover it and advance it?
I think that only happens within the 2-minute warning, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I think that's the rule. I'm going to go and look at some. So I'm going to go look to the chat, see if anyone's given me any Brighton. Tebs votes on a Brighton game. I have picked on a Brighton game. I just don't do ones that I'm commentating on. I've done that all season long.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Because I saw only 4 people predicted about this game, and I was like, why
Yeah,
is Tebs not predicted?
I don't. Well, if you want to hear it, I don't pick for games I'm commentating on because of the Brighton Panthers. Because last year in their game with the Swansea Titans for the D2 finals, they were very rude to me actually. The Brighton Panthers players were very, very rude. But that was mainly because I was commentating with Frankie Pankhurst, the OC of the UE Bullets, who was a former Swansea alumni. So obviously, if Frankie's right there and he's trying to big up.
What's that floating yellow thing? Can you see that?
I think that's the traffic.
Like the zebra crossing.
Yeah, it's just far away and we can't see the full thing.
Just see a floating yellow ball. Just looks ridiculous.
Someone give me the Portsmouth versus Brighton score. Oh!
Into the hands and in and out of the hands of Jean Kamara.
I mean, that bounce up, I think if he had slightly more concentration, he could have walked away with that.
100%. It's up to me on that out route that maybe his footing was in the wrong place and just couldn't quite get that hold in. Now, second.
I think it's third, is it not?
It's going to be 3rd down now. Have we missed a down?
Third, and then we did, yeah. Well, you were too busy talking about that traffic thing, and I was too busy getting baited by the comments.
Well, at least it wasn't a touchdown that we missed. Or a fumble or a pick or an ejection.
Yeah, honestly, guys, it does. Liverpool forfeited. Wow, that's mad. Warwick win the North. Yeah, it does happen. I get bullied all the time by 18-year-olds.
I was hoping they was talking about the Premier League. Liverpool forfeiting.
Well, to be fair, though, we haven't actually got
6 points
that.
ahead with a game in hand. I would hope they'd forfeit a couple.
So Jelinski once again fakes the handoff, makes a man miss. Going to have space. He's going to take the outside. Brought down. He's not going to have enough for a first down.
May not have enough for the first time, but he's certainly bringing the hammer. Now it's going to be 4th and medium, 4th and about 5 or 6. And we're definitely in position inside the red zone. It looks like the Burners could well go for this on 4th down. The QB is staying out, so it looks like they may be going for it. The offense is still out, and I don't see a kicker. Scratch that, I do see a kicker because he is their wide receiver as well. But it doesn't look like the special team unit is out. It looks like the offense is staying out. The wide receivers are going out wide. And it'll be this for everything. All or nothing for the Brunel Burners now.
I mean, you say that they are 15 points up. I wouldn't say all or nothing.
All or nothing for this drive.
Oh, apparently number 2 is requesting man coverage from number 6 of the Brighton Panthers, which is funny.
Rettenham finds his way forwards and maybe just about gets the first down.
I hear from my tech people who are stood right there, as you can see from that camera angle, that is a first down for Brunel.
It's a first down, lovely.
So, I mean, not so much talking about the things of this game, but Warwick Wolves, they win the Premiership North.
Interesting.
That's massive. Obviously, beating Leeds last week was huge. But then now a walkover from Liverpool. They've obviously got a nice, easy road. I imagine that the Super Bowl party for the Warwick Wolves is going to be just that little bit sweeter now that they've won the Prem North.
Speaking of Super Bowl party now, a long-term friend of mine. We've been watching the Super Bowl together every year since we first watched it together.
Was last year when they took it to Swansea. You need to be a little more balanced. Simon, stop watching. Stop watching. I just said that I was with someone who was an ex-Swansea Titan, so it's what it is, I'm afraid.
Now, first down. Not going to be a handoff. Jelinski's going to look towards the
what
side.
a bullet.
Almost finds Stuart
that?
Sinclair, but someone else catches it.
Oh my lord.
Joan Kamara catches it just behind Jamal Stuart Sinclair.
I mean,
the
angle that me and Kwame are currently at, that looked like it was not going to be getting to number 10.
Just looked to me that it was out of his hands, and
So
normally if it went into someone else's hands, it would be a defensive back, but another wide receiver was in the vicinity. I don't know how he managed to catch it with his teammate blocking his view. But something happened there. There's something in the water in Uxbridge.
So first and goal from the 2-yard line for the Brunel Burners. It is a bit of a nibble, isn't it? Are we going to see a run play here to get into the end zone?
Pinto
yes, we certainly
takes
are.
the ball.
And you can feel it up here.
Gets stopped at the 1, maybe the half-yard line.
2nd and 1. Great defensive showcase there from the Brighton Panthers.
It's a question, have we only got 2 running backs from the Brunel Burners today?
I'm going to let you scan the roster.
There may only be 2 running backs. No Adam Turin today. At least no Adam Turin on the roster.
Oh. So, 2nd and goal. You know, not much here between Brunel and another 6 points. Got a man in motion for the Burners.
Pinto again gets to the outside and gets brought down by a man who makes his way through the gap. Couldn't quite see what number that is because those numbers are impossible to see from anywhere
down
more
here.
than 10 meters.
So that's going to be a loss of 5 on the play for the Burners. I mean, you've got to be impressed with the Brighton Panthers on this goal line stand.
Biggest loss for the Burners. Something caught me off guard because being standing right here, probably for the first time in a while, actually having looked over to that half of the field and looking at the background. Some of these houses have got extensions, and it caught me off guard because I definitely don't recognise that one in that corner there. That one there, that loft conversion wasn't done the last time I was here. That one, I don't think that one was done, to be fair. So
what are we, DIY SOS? What's going on?
Maybe Uxbridge is becoming a little bit more affluent. People have got a bit more disposable income.
I mean, get back to the football. I think this, creation of space with these lots of yards could potentially open up the passing game a little bit more for the Burners.
Definitely makes it more open now.
Floats
over the top and out of reach of Dean Joseph.
I mean, couldn't get it in. 4th and goal.
4th and goal, and they will be going for the field goal this time to make it 18. Pending.
I mean, extra point last time was successful. Number 62 for the Burners having a little bit of a mare.
Ali Joeed.
Having a run over, get his helmet, and then he's immediately on the field.
I've done that before. I've run onto the field forgetting my helmet. Like, mate, my helmet's all the way over there in the corner. What am I doing? Sometimes you forget when your head's in the game, you just think run onto the field.
Yeah, but your head's in the game, but your head's not in a helmet.
Now, Rettenham, who scored all but 6 of Brunel's points so far today,
and it's blocked.
Held to get another one, and that's.
And it's going to stay 15-0. I mean, great defensive goal line stand there from the Brighton Panthers. But can this momentum that they've got translate over to the offense?
They're going to hope it can, because they're going to need to do something here to stay in the season. To keep their season alive, they will need to score at least 16 points. in 2.5 quarters. You know, a positive is obviously the Burners haven't scored in this second quarter. The Panthers have held them to 0 so far. But obviously, the negative is that they'd scored 15 in the first quarter. Now, long field position, long drive, long field for the Brighton Panthers. A low snap that rolls along the floor and is picked up by a running back and doesn't really have anywhere to go. Maybe makes about a gain of a yard before he's swung down by quite a few Brunel Burners. Sam Reynolds was in there, he's on the floor, gets himself back up. It's going to be about 2nd and 7.
Flags flying.
A couple of flags flying, and that is going to bring the Brighton Panthers very, very close to a first down. Not quite for a first down, but they will have the yards. They will take the 5 yards for the false start. Sorry, the offside.
Flags flying. A couple of flags flying, and that is going to bring the Brighton Panthers very close to a first down. Not quite for a first down.
Now the quarterback drops back, escapes out the side of the pocket, and he's going to unleash one, and that's incomplete. Well covered by the Brunel Burners defense. Shaquan Braithwaite was close there with a hand. A couple more steps on that, he probably would have been able to make an interception. Now, brings up 3rd and short for the Brighton Panthers. Can they do something with this play? Can they make a first down, keep the ball rolling, keep the chains moving, and keep their offensive drive going?
Sorry, I was right to go and do some tech stuff.
No worries. As right, look to maybe just about get the first down with that play, inside run up the middle. What QB's name?
Who? Number 7?
Brighton QB, yeah. Actually,
oh, the QB?
Yeah. Both.
So the QB's Brooker, and the running back number 7 is David Julius.
Brooker and Julius, got it.
But they have got a fresh set of downs, have the Brighton Panthers. I mean,
to see if they can win
it sounds bad to say, but you know, quite rare first down for Brighton. But after, again, the momentum, I think it's starting to bubble up here for Brighton.
Slowly starting to bubble up now.
I think there was some movement, but so it doesn't look like there's any flags on the field, but there definitely was some movement up front.
Movement on the D-line now. Maybe it just wasn't in the neutral zone. And
can happen.
This QB doesn't look like he has a lot of speed on him, but he's able to sort of escape arm tackles and guys coming around the side. He's had a lot of guys coming up in his face today, and he's had to deal with a lot. He's had shots left, right, and centre, and as the whistle goes for something.
So 2-minute warning here in Uxbridge. I mean, I feel like it's gone fairly quick. It's been, I would say that it's been all Brunel, but I feel like getting a goal line stop there, you can't say that it's been all Brunel now.
All Brunel. It's been mostly Brunel.
Mostly Brunel.
Brunel has had the ball, has had the possession, has had the field position, has been knocking on the door pretty much the whole time. But Brighton have been backs against the wall and able to stop them a couple of times.
I mean, both teams have got all 3 timeouts. They're trying to draw the Burners offside.
I don't think you can work your way down the
field. Look, that is not a good-looking ball.
Well defended by Isaac Mayer. Because that receiver was in a little bit of space. He came back last minute and just about distracted him enough for him to tip the ball and not quite haul it in.
No, I'm hearing from my tech guys that 86 for Brighton. He's looking a bit open, but I mean,
very soft coverage.
It's going to be very, very difficult to sort of get that ball into anyone's hands. Wind could have caught that, but that was all over the place.
All over. No, Now, a good pass without the wind, if that was zipped across, is a catch and a run, and possibly a run for a touchdown, because we've seen he's got quite a bit of speed on him. A lot of these balls are falling incomplete, like they're aimed towards the feet of Nigel Kith. Could have been able to dive and pick that off, but probably had one eye on running into the end zone as Brighton Panthers are bringing out the punt team.
So bring on the punting unit. Burners have got all of their timeouts remaining.
It's very interesting to see when you come back to this team after a few years and all the numbers are different. You know, I recognise a different guy wearing that jersey and a different guy wearing, but that guy's still the same.
What number did you used to wear?
I wore 28.
28.
And I see
you
someone
still
else
wear number 28, didn't you?
I still wear number 28.
Yeah, I thought you did.
I wear it for the Thrashers.
You still playing with the Thrashers?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Kick is away, not great. Oh, wow. That's massive for the Panthers.
It wasn't touched. Was it touched by the Burners? It was.
Yes,
and the
that's
Panthers
Brighton bowl.
Now, what a catastrophe. What a catastrophic play. Stuart Sinclair did not expect him to tip that and let it go.
I mean, that was... I mean, we've seen these punts all day. They've not been graceful, have they, from the Brighton Panthers? But, I mean, that's just ugly football right there. The Panthers take over in great field position, and I mean, if we were talking about momentum being on the side of the Panthers, I mean, it definitely is now.
That is fortune, because now this is potentially hold it and throw into the back of the end zone territory. We've got an eye on number 86 here. We've got another eye on 84 on the other side. There is potential for Brighton towards the end of this half to put something in, smash and grab, and potentially get something out of this.
I mean, Brooker finds Julius, but Julius is just flattened.
Taken down by Peters Tovey, number 0.
It's going to be taken down behind the line of scrimmage as well. Be interesting to see, do we have a field goal unit here for the Brighton Panthers?
Be interesting, because one thing I will say is that the last time the Brighton Panthers came to Site 5, they did have a field goal unit, because they kicked the field goal in the first quarter to make it 7-3, before unfortunately letting up 36 points unanswered and losing 43.
Right, well, you didn't have to say it like that, did you? So
I just wanted to say they had a kicker before, but it was 6 years ago, so maybe they don't have the same kicker.
So it's going to be a timeout called by the Brighton Panthers. They're going to have a loss of... they've put the stick down, so I can't see. You know, we're going to go to some scores. I do know, ladies and gentlemen, that the Edge Hill Vikings have claimed the Northwestern 2 and will be promoted. They beat the Lancaster Bombers. Edge Hill 7, Lancaster 6. I mean, if you're Lancaster,
very tight.
Heartbreaking.
I've had a 7-6 loss before. Not the one. It's not the one.
Go. Let's have a look. Obviously, Uwe beat Loughborough yesterday, and Durham beat Beckett, I think.
I feel like everybody's beating Beckett.
Yes, that's because they have.
Everybody's beating Beckett.
That's because everyone's beating Beckett.
Beckett was good. I think.
So here we go. We're going to.
Smash and grab territory for the Brighton Panthers now. Just outside the red zone. Let's see what they can do with a handoff to number 13. Is he going to look to throw it?
I mean, that's going to be a fresh set of downs for the Panthers. Oh, I think they're going to give it to him. I mean, we've got to see.
Get the forward progression.
What a play that was.
Down to the 12-yard line.
Clock's running, high tempo. Watch the ball, do not jump.
So fresh set of downs here for the Brighton Panthers. I mean, if there's ever a time to bring out a play call like that, it's right now. So David Julius is... No, he hasn't got it. I thought he had. Brooker still had control of it. He's going to have a decent game there.
He's at the fake and he's inside the 10-yard line.
I need more patience on the contain.
So 1 minute, 13 seconds remaining. And they're going to take another timeout. I mean, it's Brighton's time to score a touchdown here.
It's definitely, I think 73 seconds to make 8 yards is definitely possible.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible. But it's also possible for the Brunel Burners to get the ball back and drive down the field in about 60-odd seconds. So the Brighton Panthers need to be careful.
I feel like the momentum for the Brighton Panthers was definitely created on that goal line stand. Let's be real. I mean, that's mega whenever you can have it.
100%. Now, Now, the Burners, something that the Burners can think about is obviously they get the ball back to start the second half.
Yes.
So can you stop the Panthers from scoring? Can you potentially get a score up yourself? And then can you potentially get another score for the second half to really finish this game off? Now, if they don't manage to do that, if the Brighton Panthers manage to score here, the Brighton Panthers can then look at stopping the Burners, just like the Burners stopped the Panthers' first play.
I mean, again, a score here for the Brighton Panthers. I mean, you know, that's the beginning of an upset here.
We're looking at something. Questions will be asked. Questions will be asked at half time if the Panthers can score.
David Juice in the backfield. Brooker is looking, being pursued.
Mighty goes flying in, doesn't
And
quite
that's a
get it.
touchdown for the Brighton Panthers.
C.
No flags on the play.
J. Woodstock with the touchdown.
I mean, I saw someone in the comments there they had a Woodstock anytime touchdown. I don't know what odds they gave themselves.
1-1.
1-1.
1-1. He's
1
too
to 1.
dangerous. He's inevitable.
So going for 2 here. I mean,
So I did say he's one of their danger men.
I mean, here we go. We got a game on our hands now.
Definitely game
We've
in
got
the
a
hands.
game on our hands now. Going to be an exciting second half. There's still some time to kill, but let's see if Brighton can get 2 more points on the board.
Well,
So it goes to Julius. And Julius is
gonna make
powering
this
through. And they're saying that is all good.
and that is only the second touchdown that the Brighton Panthers have ever scored against the Brunel Burners. The first they've ever scored in Uxbridge.
First,
So
I mean, that's
Brighton's
that's a
first
good
ever
stat line.
touchdown in Uxbridge as someone goes to twerk on a post.
That was David Julius. So 8-15 the score here.
It's only the 4th touchdown the defense has allowed all season.
Do you want to say that into the mic?
You can say it.
Okay. So that was only the 4th touchdown the defense has allowed all season.
Still more than 2018. They only allowed 1 that season.
Were you playing that season?
Yes, I
Okay,
was.
just making sure.
Which, incidentally, it was a record at the time. 27 quarters shutting out teams was a record. Until Portsmouth came a year later, and completely blew it out the water.
Okay.
Didn't let in a single point all season.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the Brunel Burners now need to lock it?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they were so confident going into this one, especially considering you look at last week, 30-0, Brighton Panthers losing to the Lancers. That's huge. Now, I mean,
To
the
come
Brighton
here.
Panthers are within now a score of taking the lead in this game.
And that's going to go straight into the end zone. And you now look at it. Now, if the Brighton Panthers had won last week, they would have been 3-3. They then look at potentially coming back in this game, and they have a winning record. So it really begs the question. It really makes you think, if the Panthers were able to not get themselves blown out earlier this season by Oxford and by Hearts as well, they would really be in for it. And this is their first season back in Division 1. So now you're now looking, if they don't make the playoffs, you're now looking for next season. You're looking to build on these players that they have. You're looking to now get stronger. Keep the stronger guys you have, maybe encourage them to do a Masters or something.
Yes.
Bring in new guys, recruit more guys.
And here's the thing, like a win here today. I mean, if you're trying to bring people back for a master's degree, a win here today is invaluable.
Huge.
I mean, a bit of a low snap there. And just met in the middle there. Clock is running.
To go to Site 5 and to win is massive. For
I mean,
any
especially,
team.
let's be honest, Brunel are undefeated here. Brunel are...
Practically undefeated for years. I mean, since 2016, I want to say they've only lost 2 home games here.
Oh,
Both within a score. One was 1 point, one was 8 points. So it's not easy. It's not easy to come to Site 5. This is a swamp. To come here and beat this team, it's one of the more daunting places to go.
there we go. Jelinski's looking. He's going to try and throw it deep, and he does. Oh,
Just out of reach of Dean
I
Joseph.
mean, it looked good. Clock is going to stop.
Sailing. That pass was absolutely sailing, but yeah, it's just out of the reach. It seems to me that Jelinski's arm is a lot more than the pace of these wide receivers.
Yes, it seems to be. But do you think they could potentially be... I mean, look at this ground we're on. Are they getting caught up here, ball? Should they really know what it's like to play on this pitch?
I mean, the Burners, when I was there as well.
I think you can say we.
They train on. I mean, I'm not part of the coaching staff anymore, so officially, I mean, it's like if I'm talking about.
You baiting them.
If I'm talking about my favourite NFL team, my favourite football team, I'll say we. So I'm part of the fan.
Yes,
exactly. I'm part of the fan base. So yeah, we, they, whatever it is. But the Burners train on 4G. They train on turf.
Oh, Jelinski just gets through, and what a ball if there's anyone there, but he just cannot find a receiver. But I mean, gliding through. And a fourth down
they
now.
Won't go for it on fourth down because given Brighton too much of an opportunity now. Let's see what they can do with the punt. But there's still time. Brighton still has at least one timeout. There's still time for them to drive down the field if this punt doesn't go very well.
Do you want to do half-time interviews for people?
Yeah, we can do. That side first.
No, they're going to follow you with the camera. So flags flying now. Oh, sorry, flags flying now. I'm just trying to sort everything out. We should have some half-time interviews for you. But, you know, it's one of those things where I'm not sure how enthusiastic the Brunel Burners coaches will be to have a mic stuck in their face and ask, what happened there? Do you want to talk about that defence quickly?
There'll be a lot of expletives.
Yes, oh gosh. Yeah, if any of the coaches swear on the live stream, we do apologise, but I mean, nothing we can do.
Oh, not a great punt. Not the strongest punt. It takes a bad bounce.
Yeah.
And the Brighton Panthers are in business.
I mean, we have to now see how long is left on the clock. We do have a burner down.
Tom Hamilton slow to get up, but he's up now. Just limps his way off.
I mean, I can't see where the nearest referee is on our...
Tom from Newcastle.
On our sideline. 6 seconds remain.
Well, that's enough it's enough time for at least one play, potentially two.
I mean, you've got to be tricky if you're Brighton.
Don't take a sack. I don't know if they have any timeouts. I didn't quite catch it, but they're going to have to unleash.
I don't think so.
Potentially a quick slant or...
So Brooker is looking. And Brooker's bumped around and sacked.
And that should see out the half.
I mean, not how you want to end it, but let's be honest. Brighton Panthers surging there towards the end of the second quarter. Scoreline now is 18-15 for the Burners.
15-8.
What did I say?
You said 18-15.
Yes.
I was so confused.
8-15 to the Burners. What? Numbers. I mean, what do you see? What do you see as happening? I mean, for me, I think the Burners they lost their focus a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
But Brian,
we saw from the first quarter, we were assuming the Burners are going to absolutely run up the score. They're going to it's going to be fun for the Burners and just absolutely hell for the Panthers. And they're going to run it up and it'll be 30, maybe 40 before half time. And then they'll take their foot off the gas. And none of that happened because eventually the second quarter comes. The Panthers get the goal line stand. They get some good field position. They get a bit more fortune. They get a good run. They get the punt that gets muffed. They get some down the field. They get a little bit more. You can hear that, can't you? A little bit more luck, and then they get the score, and now suddenly it's game on. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams can respond going into the second half.
For my taste, Burners get the ball back first. They need that score first.
They need that score
first to reclaim the momentum, because right now, even though, Brunel are ahead by a score, I'd say it's pretty 50-50 in terms of the momentum.
Tough. It's pretty tough, and you don't want to end the season with 5 close games.
No, you don't.
8-0 with close games does not look as good as 8-0 with 8 blowouts.
I mean, it depends, because you look at Bournemouth and they're doing
amazing. If Bournemouth, with their high scores and everything, if they don't win it all, it would be a massive upset for them because of how easily they've disposed of everyone. They haven't played other divisions. Obviously, we don't know what the other divisions are like, strength for strength.
So,
and we know that the South is one of the toughest
oh,
divisions.
hang on a second. We've got an upset on our hands brewing. We're going to go through some scores and then we'll do some interviews for you. So, this isn't the upset. SGS are beating Exeter 40-0. But I can't believe this. Sheffield Hallam are currently beating the Nottingham Green 22-0.
Crikey.
Can't believe that one. Again, we're going to go through some scores. ARU and Derby. Is that? Yes, it is. Is it? Yes. The Edinburgh Napier Knights lead the Edinburgh Mavericks 22-10 at half-time. They're one game away from an undefeated season, just like the Burners and the Green. 6-0 for the Gloucestershire Gladiators over the Blitz, Plymouth Blitz currently. That would be an upset if Gloucestershire win that. I do love Gloucestershire, but, I mean, come on. The Chichester Spitfires are getting ready for their game. NT Renegades face Leeds. I'm going to try and find it because I need to know the Portsmouth Destroyers Instagram. We do know that the Warwick Wolves, they've won the Prem North with a walkover from the Liverpool Raptors. We know the Edge Hill Vikings have won the Northwestern 2. They will be promoted into D1 with a 7-6 victory over the Lancaster Bombers. Still waiting for OBU and Sussex scores. Again, if anyone has anything out of the Portsmouth Destroyers versus Birmingham Lions game, please feed that to me. Oxford beat Hearts 36-6. We're going to have a quick break and Kwame's going to go for some interviews. But we are going to obviously let the coaches and players have a brief conversation about things beforehand. We could see head coach James of the Burners. He's having a conversation with his staff, and I think if we go and stick a camera in his face, despite him probably liking both me and Kwame, he will tell us to expletive off.
Yeah, Foxtrot Oscar.
So what are you doing for the Super Bowl tonight? Are you watching it?
I will be watching it, yes.
Who have you got?
I have a very interesting one, because obviously my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers are not playing in the Super Bowl. So now I'm looking at potentially I have to either root for the Chiefs to three-peat or I have to root for our former quarterback, Kenny Baby Hands, Donald Trump Little Hands, Kenny Pickett.
That's mad. I forgot that he's your backup QB.
And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think I'm just rooting for fun, really. I'm rooting for an offensive. I'm rooting for an offensive, really fun, entertaining, end-to-end masterclass. That's going to be the complete opposite of that. Patriots
I feel like I'm very, very boring. I want Saquon Barkley. Just give me Saquon Barkley. He deserves it. He deserves it.
I want to see him.
I mean, Chiefs.
I think. Do you know what? The Chiefs. I can almost say.
Look at this sad man right here.
I feel relatively confident that the Chiefs will probably be there, if not next year, the year after. They've been in the Super Bowl, 5 of the past 6 years or whatever it is. It's boring. Give us someone else in the AFC. Give us the Bills.
My problem is this year is that the Chiefs literally haven't been as good. Mm-hmm. They've not been exciting to watch, I feel like. But for me, I just wish it was Washington. I really like Jane Daniels. I thought he did really well.
I would have liked to see the Lions versus the Bills this year.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to see the Lions lose Super Bowl, and I don't want to see the Bills lose another one.
I will say this, and I'll say this, publicly, looking down the barrel of the camera. I hate the Philadelphia Eagles fan base. I hate them. I actually hate them. I was in Philadelphia when they beat the Vikings to make the Super Bowl last time, and they're not nice people. Obviously, I've met some who are quite nice people, but the ones who are in Philadelphia and live in Philadelphia, they're not nice people. You don't deserve to win the Super Bowl. Go Chiefs.
What I will say is a little bit of a history lesson. So, during the Second World War, the Steelers and the Eagles joined forces together because we didn't have enough players, and we formed the Phil Pitts Eagles. So, as a result, I'm going to be lending my support to the Eagles this time round, just because I know the Chiefs will be there again next year, and I don't want to see a whole montage of Taylor Swift if the Chiefs win.
Yeah.
I got nothing against Taylor Swift, but I mean, this is the NFL.
I do. Do you know what I do on purpose? I go on Spotify if I feel like listening to Taylor Swift, and I specifically don't listen to Taylor's version of the songs because I don't like it. That's a joke, by the way. But yeah.
Imagine she's probably pretty cool in person, but I don't know her in person.
This is my problem. Is that I like Saquon Barkley, but I don't like Eagles fans. So
I don't like Kenny Pickett.
So I hope he gets a touchdown, and the Chiefs win.
I hope the Eagles win it, but I hope they win it on a walk-off touchdown so that Kenny Pickett doesn't get to kneel the clock.
I've got two gentlemen behind the camera who are Lincoln Colonials. Were you there for the 7-3 Rams Patriots? Yeah, we have gone out than the Rams-Patriots game. That was a horrific night out. Let's never do that again.
That was horrendous. Well,
again,
at least the quarterback won the MVP and not a running back. I'm
I've
looking
got
at
a bet
you,
on-
Ravens fan.
Do you want to jump on the mic there, Maris?
No counter argument to that.
Okay, we're just going to keep looking to see if anyone's free. Again, I'm going to look for some more scores. There's not too many.
I say that, but I'm secretly jealous of their run game.
Mate, how's it feel? Who's going to be your QB next year, do you reckon? Because it's not Russ.
That'd be Justin Fields, I reckon.
I think that's good.
It'd be Justin Fields. He's got the talent. He just doesn't have the arm and the brain that Russ has, but he's got the legs to make defenses think twice.
Yeah, the Bears wasted that poor man.
Which is crazy because
Oh, hang on.
Caleb Williams.
The-
I would say Fields is probably better than Williams, in my opinion.
The OBU Panthers have arrived in full swag today, which I do appreciate.
Are they playing at Tilsley Park?
They are. That's their home ground.
So interesting.
That's their home ground.
Interesting. Because I know the Lancers sometimes do, but they don't always.
Do you want to go and see if anyone wants to interview at half-time, head coach?
Are we ready for them? Can we see James?
Yeah, I see
see
James is over there.
He's facing. Should we head over there?
Yeah. In that case,
I may not need
I'm
this.
gonna give you this, so you can give that to them. And,
Okay,
Christ
that makes sense.
Some scores. Ugh. Take your shoes.
You know what? I can fold this. It's a piece of paper. I can fold it.
You can just leave it on the table. I'm gonna stay there.
You can hold on to it. You've got the roster already. Playing currently, we've got the Brunel Burners that are 15-8 up against the Brighton Panthers. Some of the Panthers are making their way back over to the field to get warmed up, but we're just as you can force ones on my feet representing got a little half-time show for you. Interested?
Huh? Yeah, sure.
Down, down, down. Right. Head coach James. Going currently with obviously the Burners obviously putting up a few points early on in the game, and then obviously not really getting the second quarter going. What needs to be done in this second half to really get ahead and put this game to bed?
Yeah, I think we go back to what we did at the beginning. I think maybe simplify play calling a little bit. Actually, to our detriment, because when we do our more complex stuff, scatters and shifts, etc., people tend to get confused. They checked into a cover 4, which, you know, we beat them on a 4 verse play, so we can't call that again, obviously, against cover 4. Job properly. And special teams error, I mean, let's be honest, you can't have a special teams error to give. Keep doing what you're doing. But it's nothing to worry about. We'll go back to our game and we'll go from there. I think apart from that, that was our biggest splash play. So I'm content with where we are, and I just know we're going to. Well, I just like to hope that we're going to push on from this into the third quarter and go back to what we were doing at the beginning.
Essentially a case of nerves, you know, get everyone calm. You know, what's been really the difference between the first few games of the season, you know, the big blowout wins, the game against Oxford, scoring a lot of points, and obviously the past few games being tight. Would you say it's been a case of nerves and new things that are not coming out, or would you say it's a case of just needing to get everyone sort of comfortable?
Hearts was horrible. Reading was a Well, the only one that was decent was Oxford, which didn't play very well. And that was the first game back after Jan. So today's a decent outlook, and we're moving the ball offensively quite nicely through the air. So we'll get back to that. I think it's just getting these guys to understand who they are. The thing with Brunel is there's never been a doubt about talent. That's always been the way it is. But it's what's our mentality and what's our stuff off the field like. A beautiful situation to be in, obviously, with the last game of the regular season.
Definitely, it's important that you get those guys back. And one thing I've noticed seems to be some sort of X factor that we haven't had in previous. Myself as a player, yourself as a former player as well. You've seen favourites or one of the ones being discussed for potential promotion. Always been talking about the playoffs. So, is there something different with this unit here? What seems to be the difference between this year and previous years, where there seems to be maybe a bit of complacency? Is there any real difference this year with these guys being a bit more humble and sort of understanding? Is there sort of a bit more talent, a bit more hunger in the team compared to previous years?
No. We've wiped the whole coaching staff, obviously, so as you know, so like
All new faces.
and I've learned
And
the lessons of the past and columns. The lessons of the past. So these guys understand they were all here. Those are the players who were here last year. That traumatic last minute against Oxford last season. So they've seen there. They got the T-shirt. And as far as they're concerned, it's now about They understand that year we all thought we were going to walk it, and you play the same in division opponent.
So you take it one game at a time, see how it goes.
We banned the word championship. We banned the word ring. Essentially, I'm not even focused on playoffs really. I'm just looking at Brighton in the next second half, and then we go from there.
Quite literally finish that because you've got to get this done before you can focus on anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Their season's still alive, so they're going to be playing for the win.
Well, I think they're dead in the water, but
Best of luck for the second half.
in a bit.
Right now, we've got the Brighton side warming up. They are getting ready. Their season maybe just about hanging by a thread. They still have an opportunity, but we'll see what their head coach is saying. Be a while to locate their coach, as I'm not entirely sure which one it is, so I'll do some digging around and try to figure out which one I'm looking at. I see a few faces that I recognise, so I'll go over there and find out who the coach is. Who's your head coach?
I'm the head coach.
You're the head coach? You ain't no head coach. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Right here. Come into the microphone. Come into the microphone. Yeah?
Can I join?
Appreciate
Long
it.
time, man.
Appreciate it. Good to see you, man. Where's the head coach?
She wasn't in. She was one in.
Hey, you can jump in if you want.
When he says give him the mic.
Hi, Mom.
All right, got a couple of players here. We've got Marvin and introduce yourself. David. David. Right. Obviously, your season, 2 wins, 4 losses so far, still alive. Now you've got a couple of things to play for, but it's really up for this second half. It's really what can you guys do? What needs to be done?
What we need to do, we got to establish that run better. Get them D-line moving. Forget about the linebackers. If you get the D-line moving at least 5 yards, then that's 5 yards every run. Give our QB a bit more time in the pocket. They're sending some heavy pressure and stuff from time to time. We just got to make sure that we're on top of those blitzes, make sure that we're covering those blitzes as well. We just got to keep marching the ball downfield. Can't let penalties or anything slip us up, and eventually we'll hit that end zone just like we just did.
Anything to be fair, there's been a lot of penalties. This game and obviously last week we saw against Oxford, it wasn't particularly a good showing out from you guys, but it seems to be like after the first quarter, after a couple of jitters have got out of the way, you seem to have been able to, calm your nerves, get some good plays going, and obviously good fortune with the score as well.
everything out.
I guess good performance today is
I would definitely say so. If we just start building momentum now, is how we go into recruiting. From recruiting, then we just set that standard for the rest of the team, you know. And then we just carry that.
Thank you very much. Second half is already starting, so let's get over there. Appreciate it.
You good?
Yeah, not too bad. Hey, there was something that just happened over there that we into the end zone. Now, is there some laundry on the field, or is it a complete? Hey. Didn't realise second half was going to start so soon. Was all good. So that makes it 21-8 for the Brunel Burners. Didn't even get a chance to stop them from returning. He's going to sneak his way in. They seem to have marked him in, and that will make it 23-8. I've got to quickly run over to Tevz because I've got his microphone as well. I've just remembered. I'm talking into two microphones. I don't know if you guys can hear him.
That was something. How did that interview go, Kwame?
Well, it was pretty good, and then I turned around and see Jamoy Stewart-Sinclair running into the end zone. I was like, what on earth is going on? I thought someone was still warming up, and turns out the second half kick had already taken place.
I mean, that was mental.
As I said just a minute ago, I just realised that I had your microphone as well. So
yes.
As I'm walking across, I just realised, Tebs can't say anything. I don't know if he's speaking into the microphone and he's forgotten or.
No, I just had to watch. and the people, I bet you they were really, really happy that they didn't have to hear my voice for that one. But 23-8, I mean, that's the way to start off a quarter when your momentum was sort of swinging the other way.
Definitely.
You happy with that? You happy with that?
Oh. It's all right, that.
Yeah, I think it was definitely interesting when their head coach doesn't want to have an interview, so they pass it over to a few of their players.
Do you hear that? Say that to SJ?
When their head coach isn't keen on interviewing, so they pass it over to a few of their players, and it works out. Maybe she was busy with coaching.
That's probably it, you know. I imagine Georgia's a very good coach, so
I don't think
she had some things to do.
Tank get lost.
No, I don't think it is, especially considering that Georgia has done some interviews with us in the past.
See that the Brunel Burners have got their mojo back, they've got their hunger back, and they're just swarming all over the ball.
Yes, of course I can. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We were just having some just some camera stuff. We'll be back on it now. We're still frazzled. So, where'd they get that to?
The temperature seems to be dropping suddenly because I can feel it in my bones.
Yes. I mean, it's curious to see what Brighton can do here. I mean, not the way you want to start off, but I mean, the momentum, you can't say that it's with Brighton anymore. But, you know, the last offensive drive for them was successful, but, I mean, very, very lucky field position for the Panthers on their scoring drive.
I mean, yeah, the momentum may be gone, but as a few of the guys there said earlier, Marvin and David, who I spoke to, as Danilo Irungo comes in and brings down Booker for another sack and another loss of yards. Now, I was speaking to Brighton on the sideline earlier. It was a case of, you know, whatever happens this season, if they make the playoffs, if they manage to sneak in, or if they don't make it, it most likely seems like they won't make it this time. It doesn't seem like they're going to get the win, and I think Oxford are out of reach now.
I wouldn't say that with certainty.
Okay. Although, very likely, but not absolutely certain. It seems to me like...
I'd say the Oxford, not Brighton.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. You know, I wouldn't say that Brighton... I don't think Oxford are out.
Oxford are not out.
Oxford are not out.
But Brighton are almost certainly out.
Yes, if they lose this, but also they'd need that replay for the Oxford-Brighton game, which I don't think will happen.
Okay.
And that's me saying I don't think it will happen because I don't think there's enough time left.
The chances for Brighton to stay alive would be to come back in this game.
Yes.
And then replay the game, play the game against Oxford.
Yes.
On Wednesday and win that by 31 points or more.
Yes, I believe so.
Which is
out there.
Crikey. Now the quarterback has just launched it like a grenade. Just absolutely launched it. And Woodstock couldn't quite haul it down. It was sort of out of reach.
And I mean, it looks like Woodstock is being read the riot act here from some of the Brunel defenders.
They're all over him. I mean, Brunel is a tough place to go. Not only is Site 5 a tough place to play on, but the Brunel sideline has always been volatile. Now, especially when it gets to the playoffs. When it gets to the playoffs, and when it's warm enough for the fans to come and watch, the fans will make noise as well.
I will tell you what, though. I mean, Kwame has currently got some bags on his feet. Smart idea. My socks wet.
Now, that has been blocked by Adam Rice and caught by James Smith III. He's at the 20-yard line and he's going to fight his way.
Back. I mean, it really would be interesting to see, is this the normal punter for the Panthers? Because we've seen another punt blocked, and even when they haven't been blocked, they haven't been that great.
Punts have not been very great. They've not been great at all. And the Burners just seem to me like now they're, as we said earlier, as the coach said, just go back to the base.
Flags, we will say.
Where? There's just been a flag and it's going to be another punt with a 5-yard advantage for
It seems to me that was a substitution infraction from the Burners, having too many men on the field. The
Understandable.
Panthers are going to re-punt, but considering that was blocked last time, that's huge.
Blocked again. Will it be blocked again? Maybe not this time.
No.
As Rice didn't get quite a strong run off or get off this time, but seems to be an away call, and the Burners are going to have to take over from their own 30-yard line as opposed to taking over from the Panthers' 20-yard line.
I mean, that's just an absolute heartbreaker there. I mean, a simple penalty, having too many men. We have got another flag on the field. We didn't have many flags in the first half, but we've got some more.
Again, there is another flag right down there by the 30-yard line.
So?
Now, question. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about the Super Bowl,
yeah,
and obviously the NFL being over until next fall.
Yeah.
Scratch that. Will you be watching spring football, the UFL?
I'm normally a little bit busy, or I hope to be slightly busier come April, May, on my Saturdays and Sundays.
I see.
No, but it's weird. No. But that's because I'm not invested enough. When it was the AAF, the American Alliance of Football, I watched that. I remember watching the Birmingham Miami for the first season of the XFL with the DC Defenders.
San Antonio Commanders, they were strong.
But I don't know what it is. I've not really been able to get into the UFL. But then the thing is, I've got to, and I think so do you actually. We've got to deal with Britball. We've got to deal with, the European League of Football. All of that sort of.
So much more. There's so much more football now.
Yeah.
I think last year was the first time we had 12 months of uninterrupted football.
So Julius has got it again, and just the first bit of contact leads to him being wrapped up. And that fourth down, that was long. That was really, really long. A couple of penalties, and I think this could be absolutely damaging for the Brighton Panthers. There is a player down, and I think that might be number 7.
That is number 7. It looks to me. These numbers are impossible to. They really should have white numbers on those dark purple side of their jerseys. It's so difficult to see.
I mean, it really is. I mean, we can barely see them, and we're stood, fairly close to them now. But like that white outline on the outside,
Some of
very,
them,
very
yeah.
difficult.
And some of them don't even have the white outline.
No, they don't. So, David Junius walking off under his own power, but I mean,
And then of
I feel like if they even have him missing for a single drive, that's going to be damaging for the Brighton Panthers. But on that fourth down try, the Brighton Panthers trying to, push the ball, get some more scorings in, but this time it's Brunel.
No, I do think it would have made more sense to have a purple outline and white numbers.
Purple, yes.
I would like to have a word with the person who designed these jerseys.
It's very, very strange, isn't it? Because
Very strange.
I'd have to ask. I'm sure there may be some referees in the chat. Would you class this, because it has to be a contrast, doesn't it?
It has to be a contrast.
Would you say that's a contrast?
Now you see, that's what confuses me about. As Bannerman fights his way for a first down.
I mean, that was just some good running there.
Give that man the hammer.
Again, we've been sort of blown away by the Brunel through the air, but Brunel on the ground. I mean, why not show it off?
Stays down.
Especially after such a massive start to this game.
I think what this reminds me of, actually, speaking of the jerseys, is Wembley Stallions red jerseys. There's something about those jerseys that doesn't quite do it for me, and I think it's the fact that the numbers fade into the jersey colour.
What do you think about that, Kieran? Wembley Stallions red jerseys.
Because they've got numbers that fade from red to white.
Yeah, the numbers
So,
fade.
like half of the number you can't actually see.
Do you have any preference? No, thanks, Kieran.
Well, then, to be honest, I think it's their white jerseys or their blue jerseys that aren't too bad because they're clear. You can see.
Hey, you got 3 kits.
Hey, not many teams have 3
Exactly.
kits. Not many teams do. Even the Thrashers only have 2. Well, actually, tell a lie. We have technically 6 combinations, maybe, or is it 9?
What's your primary colours? Well, black and gold.
Black and gold, but we've got obviously black. We've got all black, so black, gold, black jerseys, black bottoms, black socks.
Another handoff.
Bannerman up the outside, and he looks to have the space to get himself into.
Oh,
Not quite into the end zone, down at the 2-yard line with a flag for a horse collar
flag
tackle.
on the play. I mean, it looks to me that this ball is going closer.
It'll be half the distance to the goal. It looks like it'll gain about an inch.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
2 inch. I would have thought that the ref would give the. I thought he touched the pylon and got it down, but looks to me that.
oh, a horse collar tackle, but down at the 1. I mean, impressive to get it down at the 1-yard line, but it's not going to be doing much moving. But I imagine we're going to see some Brunel points here.
I would personally go for a tush push. Just because Brighton did it earlier.
Well, here's the thing, like, goal line stands here. They're currently like as close to the end zone as they can be. But do the Brunel Burners need space to score? That's the question.
No, I would.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Jelinski's right under centre. It looks to be like Smith in the backfield with Bannerman. Are they going to
Let's have a look.
forwards or backwards? This will be interesting.
Yeah, they're going for it.
Going to drive forward and get a push.
And nice and simple. I mean, we've seen some like high-level plays with some thrills from the Burners, but that one, simple.
Very, very simple, bare bones, get the job done. 29 points for the Burners now.
I mean, I imagine we're going to see a fair few
Fun fact,
tush pushes.
those are my gloves he's wearing.
I
He's wearing my gloves.
think that's not the first tush push. I think it won't be the last tush push we see broadcast from an American football field today.
Yeah, there'll be quite a few later on. I just hope that the game doesn't go down to a field goal at the end where they waste the clock out, and
I think they will.
always happens. This referee is running so fast, but he's not moving anywhere.
Almost fumbled there. And that 2-point conversion is going to go nowhere. Scoreline stands 29-8.
I'm not quite sure what was planned there, but just seemed to me like it was supposed to be a normal play, and then it sort of went wrong. And
What was that?
Special teams coordinator just having a bit of fun
A little bit of fun?
because it's a fun day out.
Oh.
who?
I wouldn't say it isn't. I wouldn't say it is yet.
I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
Oh, he looks familiar. I'm having fun a little bit, apart from the cold.
Yeah,
It's
apart from the
freezing.
fact-
Used to this, Kwame.
Apart from the fact my socks are wet, bro. I mean,
Should be used to this. I spend all my time indoors.
Get the old cleats out.
they were in the back of my car. Oh,
Get the Bag Force ones out.
the back force one.
When you see a special one, make sure you bag them for life.
So here we go. Let's getting ready for kickoff here. Brighton obviously need some points to stay in it, but I mean that 4th down attempt. I mean, it's absolutely hectic there for Brighton. I'm gonna look see if we've got any more scores.
Looks to me like the Burners are going to keep their unbeaten record at home.
I mean,
They will.
you've still got a quarter to play. I mean, you know, give it
As things go, I mean, it becomes a little bit less. It becomes a little bit less likely each play that goes on, each drive, each
Yeah.
quarter, each score, and each turnover or fail to score from the Brighton Panthers. It becomes a little bit more likely that the Burners will take this and move on to a 4-0 against the Brighton Panthers all time.
No, I don't.
Now, an onside kick that has been recovered, and
Oh, that was brutal.
someone's down. 2 people are down.
No, it looks as though the Brighton player in question is back up, but the
It was a shin to the head, shin to the helmet.
Certainly
Sam Reynolds
was.
is rolling around in pain. That's going to hurt. Probably be a lump on his leg tomorrow. But I've taken a leg to the helmet and been ruled out for the rest of the game, let's just say.
okay. So the Plymouth Blitzco now lead the University of Gloucester Gladiators 8-6. The Edinburgh Napier Knights beat the Mavericks. They've had an undefeated season, 40-22 for Edinburgh Napier. What else can I tell you? No, I don't need adverts for wine. The Warwick Wolves obviously win the Prem North with a walkover from Liverpool. The Edge Hill Vikings are promoted 7-6 over the Lancaster Bombers. UClan are currently up 21-6 over, I think it's LJMU. Let's have a look. QMBL beats Imperial 14-0. And
Both of those guys actually former division rivals of Brunel Burners.
yes, they are. I mean, QMBL, they still could be coming up, but they're going to need some help from the City Wolfpack. And also they need to beat Greenwich as well.
Greenwich are an interesting one. Greenwich are an interesting one. They've got,
They are. Greenwich are... I love Greenwich because they can just come out of nowhere and just win a game.
They've got talent. I mean, obviously they share a home field with the best team in the country
Yes.
in Britball. But
So
that does
run
also
left here.
surprise me. that
Oh
there's
my lord. And just brought down to the ground.
33 and 34. Nemati and Irungo out there just double teaming a guy and just completely taking him down.
So that is going to be a huge loss here for the Brighton Panthers. I'm going to say 5. Would you say 5?
Sorry, I'm just
Yeah,
looking
okay.
on screen how wonky those lines are.
University American football.
This is nothing. I mean, I remember one
Oh,
of
yeah.
my last games that I played or coached here. They had done the lines in meters instead of yards.
Fantastic. So it's going to be a QB keeper. Brooke is moving. Got brought down. I mean,
There was another one
Flag
where you think the groundsman
flying
got drunk the
there.
night before because the lines were not straight. The lines were all over the place.
I think we're going to have some unnecessary roughness or at least a taunting penalty potentially. You ever played Bath Spa?
No, I've never played.
Okay.
I played a game against Bath Killer Bees.
No. Okay. So
But
the
never played Bath
the
Spa.
Bath Spa pitch is on an angle like
Right.
this,
Horrendous.
and the next field over is sheep. So you get a bunch of sheep once you
That's
play.
ridiculous.
But I remember I was playing for So unnecessary roughness on the burners. That is going to give Brighton.
I like this. I like the fact that I've done this. Do you know what? The idea I got from this was that in my first year, first ever playoff game, one of the former players actually rocked up to the field with bags on his shoes. And that gave me the idea from then. And I like this because now it means I can get into my car and I don't have muddy shoes. I can go home and I don't have muddy shoes and I'm not dragging mud into the house.
Unnecessary roughness penalty on the burners. And they're going to give Brighton enough for a first down.
Be interesting to see what they can do here. Will they expand a little bit, try something new, try throwing the ball a little bit more, throw the ball downfield? We've not really seen them try to exploit the middle of the field.
Spread off his high snap, gets it out to his right hand side, cuts back into the middle, but there's just yellow jerseys everywhere.
Again, a coalition. It's a tag team tackle between Peters Tovey and Smith.
But I mean, no, I've definitely got my angles wrong there because I thought that was going to be a gain of like 4, but it's a gain of 1.
As I was saying, there goes another one, another pass attempt for the Brighton Panthers that is out flat, into the flats and tried to get something out of it. But once you go there, there's about 5 or 6 burners ready to make the tackle. You know, they've not exploited, they've not tried anything in the middle of the field. And I think it's quite obvious by the third quarter that if they haven't tried anything now, are they ever going to try anything across the middle of the field? The burners have a whole middle of the field to not really have to worry about.
So going to be a gain of 2 on that play. But how would you open up the middle of the field or how would you get your players into that part of the field? Because there has to be a reason why they're not going in there.
My assumption. My assumption.
Oh.
I mean, they're making something out of it now, but I would say my assumption was, if you look at the 2 big bodies in the middle of the field, number 0 and number 7, there doesn't look to be much real estate in that area where you've got those 2 huge bulldozers in the middle of the field. So I think part of it is wanting to protect your players, but I also think part of it is the playbook. You know, they need to bring in some cross routes, bring in something that goes across the field to drag those players out of position, and then someone else who comes back across the field again to exploit that empty space.
4th and 1 play here. Brighton have kept their offence out. We've seen them use the tush before, but they're not going for that now. Sending a man in motion.
It's the score. Make the yard or lose the game,
and the QB's got it himself. Makes a couple of burners miss.
Does he get the first down? Maybe just about. I think he just about makes it, and they're going to keep the ball.
No, they're saying, I see one ref saying that's Brighton ball. I'll wait for
See what the white hat says.
A proper signal.
First down.
And first down for the... And they're going quickly here. And Julius cuts right through the middle. Absolutely fantastic run.
Almost found his way through. It was a last-ditch arm tackle that got him down.
I mean, Brighton are going quick here. Personally, I love to see this in a game plan, especially at the uni ball level.
This is momentum because they know.
2nd and 5.
If they had
Goes back to Julius, but he's swarmed this time.
Again, Peters Tovey in there with the tackle. I'm just seeing number 0. Hakeem Adey was in there as well. I see him getting up off the ground. Now, it really does show that 4th down play that they got, that kept them in the game just then. Because if they didn't make that, at that point, I don't think there's enough time. If the Burners get the ball back with that 4th down stop, they then have a bit of momentum. I think they go down the field and score. If it becomes a 3-score game at the end of the 3rd quarter, especially being uni ball with only 12-minute quarters, I say it's the end of the game.
I mean, some gutsy calls here from the Panthers. You can definitely say that.
I stand corrected, it already is a 3-score game, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
it's completely...
Tried for the jet, but there was nothing there. But, I mean, let's be honest, there's not going to be a massive loss on that play, I would say. And, you know, the Panthers are going to go for this.
I think for the rest of the Panthers season, right now, I think the Panthers shouldn't bother with punts. They shouldn't bother with anything playing it safe. They should really try to create something, because at this moment in time, it's very, as we said already, it's very unlikely they'll make the playoffs, which means this is very likely going to be their final game. If they can't get that game against Oxford done as well,
I wonder who their varsity's against. Nothing matters. Well, I don't actually know.
It is. I feel like I know this one.
Man in motion. Flag on the play. Ball flying over the top, but the referees are going to call this one dead. 3 flags. I mean, one in the middle, one on either side.
I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe it might be against Sussex because they're quite close, aren't they? Because I know Solent Uni is against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Because I think Southampton and Portsmouth have their varsity against each other.
I think that's correct.
I know that obviously Oxford and Cambridge together, which means that Oxford Brooks would then be against Reading because they're the closest ones.
Yes, but then I know that like the OBU and then the Lancers, they've got their own game. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, they have like a separate.
It was named after the teams when they.
The Cavaliers.
Yes, it is the Cavaliers. Yes, it is. Glad you know that because I was racking my brain trying to think about that last night for some reason.
I only know that because when I was at Oxford Saints, Phil De Monte was there and he used to be a head coach of Oxford Cavaliers.
Good name.
Very good guy.
There isn't a Cavaliers squad. Anyone called the Cavaliers, is there?
No, I don't think there is anyone else called Cavaliers.
That's a great name.
Lovely name.
Bring back the Cavaliers.
I don't think I've even heard of an American team called the Cavaliers.
Well, Cleveland. American football.
Oh, yeah, NBA.
I mean, there's some...
Which reminds me, obviously, I've never heard of another team called the Burners. I think there might be a D3 team in America called the Burners, but other than that, I've never heard of anyone called Burners.
No, I can't say I've either.
There's a couple of unique names out there, you know.
Regents. I think Regents is a great name for it.
I think Raging Cajuns is a good name. Louisiana. He'll never have someone in the UK with that name. You see, Cajun is.
Okay, so what's currently going on now, as I can hear from my some people on the other side, there's an argument going on about a visor being worn today. Is what's taking
a visor being worn, and it's taken them until the third
quarter.
Oh,
sorry. That's not the delay of the game. That was just something that was happening in the meantime.
Okay.
So here we are. We're back in now. Got a man in motion for 4th and 13 for the Panthers. Ball dribbles along the floor and just crushed.
I'm sorry, but the guy moving in motion just didn't look like he was going anywhere.
No.
I was just caught up on that. Like, it took forever to go in motion.
So here we go. So the Burners are going to come onto the field. No, I imagine there can't be long left in Q3. I can imagine.
Not much long at all.
29 to 8 is the score.
21-point game, so we're far away from a running clock anyway. There won't be a running clock.
Oh no, I can't imagine there'd be a running clock here today.
Another 2 scored before that, which would then take us into,
Also, ladies and gentlemen, the rundown will come at you at 7:30 tomorrow, and 4 games next week. We don't actually know what we're doing next week, so stay tuned to find out what games we are doing.
Who is playing next week? It's all Div 2 next week.
Bunch of Div 2s and then UE versus Gold. That's obviously that stream. So it's going to be a run in the middle. There's a huge gap.
That'd be Gold versus UE, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In Nottingham. That wouldn't be.
Yes.
That'd be someone else. They have their own.
Yeah, no, not Gold stream their own games.
Bit like Oxford, but I presume they actually have a commentator.
Yeah, and a scoreboard. Yeah. You know, like I mean. Well, whether I've got the day off or I'm watching it at home, I'm watching Gold versus Bullets. I'm invested.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I won't make myself down to Nottingham because I'm not going to Nottingham to watch it.
I would go to Nottingham to watch it.
I would go and then hang out with the commentary team just to maybe learn from them.
Great run.
Seems to be an absolute fight. I see punches being thrown in there. He was definitely going for the ball, Woodstock, but I mean, it looked a bit comical. I know it's a bit early, but would you say you have any pre-season predictions for the ELF?
I think Paris are going to do really well. I think Jack Del Rio coming over as the HC is going to be good. Obviously, you know, it's can Ryan Fire sort of be as good as they have been? I mean, there was just a bit too much mustard on that ball.
John Kamara, again, in and out of the hands. Maybe he's got to work on them hands. Maybe the ball's a bit slippery. Goodness knows.
Yeah, I mean, like the Ryan Fire, obviously without Tunga and Clark now, but they're obviously both now at Nordic Storm, so it's obviously the rise of the Nordic Storm.
I think Storm will make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Stuttgart as well. I think they're going to be in for a good season. But realistically, like my team to watch and who I think is going to obviously make it, fairly deep. They did as last year as well. I think it's Paris. I think Paris is looking very, very decent. Very, very decent.
Do you know what? This one's a bit of a courageous, maybe outrageous prediction, but I think Prague are going to do pretty well.
I think Prague are going to do better than they
I think Prague are going to do a lot
years.
better.
Definitely. Completely agree with that. You look at who they've brought in.
Their imports are fantastic.
Yes.
And they've brought some Black Panthers guys over. Jelinski finds Banahan wide open. Gains a few yards, but does get caught by a defender. I think maybe he's slow to get up, limps off the field, but gets the first down and the chains are moving.
So that's going to be the end of Q3. Let me change the old score. No, not the score. Change the old thing. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think Prague are going to be looking better. I mean, I wouldn't say too much about Feyenoord. It'd be nice if the teams who didn't perform particularly well. Helvetic, obviously Barcelona now out. Milano, I believe Milano were just taking a break.
I'm struggling to see them coming back.
Who?
Milano.
Well, this is it, because I believe that Milano signed like a 4-year deal to be the only Italian team in the European League of Football, and that's expired.
Would this year count as... What year would they have signed it?
I can't remember. I know they had an exclusivity deal to be the only Italian team in the ELF.
This would be their 3rd year, right?
I've genuinely... I read this a long time, or not a long time ago, like last year. So it's going to be interesting. Like, I mean, it's going to be the classic of seeing who's about, what new team's going to pop up next year. Because obviously, like, there has to be a new Italian team.
There has to.
Like Italy is.
I would go as far as saying that if Milano comes back, they have to change their name. If they were to go, for example, combine the two Milan teams and go Sea Rhinos, that would be a lot more acceptable.
A little bit of miscommunication there, and a huge sack there for the Brighton Panthers.
22 or 92 it came in there. I can't see the numbers for Brighton, but big sack. They've lost at least 8 yards on that.
I mean, it's not the first time we've seen today a miscommunication from Jelinski's and his running backs. Mm-hmm. But this is probably going to be the most damaging one, as they're now facing what looks to be, as you said, a second and 18.
As a former running back and the former running back coach, I do look at the little details, the little nuances, everything down to the handoffs, the timing of those little things. And that as a running back, sometimes you only have about half a second to get through that gap.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So Jelinski's not wearing gloves. It's cold. Is that playing any sort of factor, would you think?
Depending on what he's like as a person. If he's used to the cold, maybe not so much. But
well, I think he's from California, so...
Yeah, it'll play into it. If he was from Connecticut, if he was from Denver, up in the mountains, Washington, somewhere cold, I'd say, not too bad of a problem, yeah. If he's from New York, especially from Buffalo, fine. Oh. California, his fingers are struggling right now. I'm surprised he doesn't have a hand warmer. Oh, does he have a hand warmer?
No, he did have a hand warmer, but he threw it off in the first quarter.
Oh. Was that the thing that was on the field over there?
No, because he threw it off over there.
Oh, okay. Surprised he hasn't put it back on, but I remember when Lamar Jackson had the hand warmers pockets built into his jersey.
Yes,
that was nice.
The smartest thing, it's one of the smartest things you've ever seen.
Now, I would do that at any team if I owned a jersey. I still own my Oxford Saints jersey because I bought that when I joined. But if I owned my jersey at Thrashers, I would probably do the same. Maybe not because it's summerable, but...
yeah, I mean, you get a hand warmer.
If I owned my jersey when I played for the Burners...
to be fair, we do live in England. So, 3rd and 15?
A lot.
Yeah. Jelinski drops back, just fires a short one out to...
Finds Pinto, he's got acres of space, and he's going to make the first down. He's going to make the first down. He gets himself down to about the 25-yard line. The chains are going to move, and the Brunel Burners are back in business.
I mean, it seemed like that was just going to be an absolute heartbreaker after that massive sack. They were going to be punting this ball, but, 31. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's quite dark and bruised today, but he had nothing but daylight.
He's not the biggest guy, but he's that kind of running back that will find the gaps. You know, more like a Darren Sproles than a Derrick Henry, but it's effective. It's effective. Oh my. I thought you kicked my foot. I was like, what did you... I thought you kicked the stone at me. I was like, what?
So here we go for Burners. It's going to be a handoff to number 12.
12? Isn't he running back in there?
And a great swarm there from the Panthers.
I've seen a number 12 all games. Alex Barber. It's a new running back now. Interesting to see, obviously, the Burners have put the score up and now they're rotating a few guys in and out. New running back come in. You know,
I mean, I feel like you've got to.
I don't know if they have a backup quarterback that they would eventually use if they run the score up enough.
I feel like you've got to. I mean, the playoffs are not the time you want to be testing players out for the first time.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, in my first year, my teammate who was also a first year got his first start in the playoff game.
So Jelinski's looking, trying to duck out of the way, and he does.
Rolling around.
And he's looking for back post and fires that.
Another one out the back of the end zone intended for Isaiah Dean Joseph. Nowhere near him. I mean, the way Jelinski rolls around and shimmies out in and out of the pocket kind of reminds me of Seahawks Russell Wilson at times. You know, he's able to just kind of juke his way around, almost makes it look like effortlessly. You know, he looks like his legs are made of jelly at times. Not in a bad way. You know, that sounds very bad. It sounds like he doesn't go gym. But he's just able to just find his way through crevices and gaps without looking like he's looking where he's going. That is natural quarterback ability. Scrambling.
I've got another scorer update for you. And a bit of a surprising one as it stands right now. It's 12-7 Sunderland over York, which I feel like I've not respected Sunderland this season, I will say. So 3rd and 11.
I've just dropped my play sheet on the floor and now it's covered in mud.
3rd and 11 for Brunel. So empty set now for the Burners without motion out. Jelinski's dropping back. He's looking for 5 and he has found him.
Finds him.
And he keeps fighting. And he keeps fighting.
He still had the ball in his hands.
I don't see a signal for a touchdown, but that's going to be down very, very close.
Looks to me like he's down inside the 5.
Once again, the Brunel Burners find themselves at the 1-yard line.
Again, Mr. Shawhands, Tyrese Retnam with another catch. Up the middle again, up the seam. Finds that same position where the 2 touchdowns in the first quarter were scored.
Yeah.
Just seems to me like Brighton are just letting this seam go. Now, I need to look at sort of, are their defensive backs just not queuing on that? Or are they being put in a position where they have to make a decision? Seems to me like the offensive coordinators and the offensive coaching staff and the players, the personnel, have Brighton's number. They've not been their usual high-powered, high-scoring selves, but they have been in a much stronger position and a much more relaxed position.
So Jelinski drops back, looking for 5 again, but he just fires it over his head. So going to bring up 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line for Brunel.
Again, I think he could have caught that with a dive, but look at the field. Nobody wants to dive when it's freezing cold.
No, I feel like I don't think he feel. I mean, he would have been a real like toes on it though.
Spectacular,
you know.
sort of over the
I mean, don't get me wrong. It would have been great if he did it towards the camera, but.
It's sad because when you go into the 4th quarter and they're in the other corner, it's like, you know, is it worth us packing up and running up there?
Well, no, the camera's down there.
Oh yeah, true. But
yeah, we have got a camera down there. Me and Kwame just up the other end. So
stood over here. See,
so
this is why
we have to watch it on the.
I want to get hold of a crane or a fire truck, you know, with a massive ladder and just stand up there so I can see things.
Yeah.
You're a lot taller than I am, so you can see stuff a little bit better than I.
So it doesn't look like anyone's crossed the goal line yet. And I think once again, it's not going to be Going to wait for a signal from a ref that we can see. Yep.
The Brunel side adamant that that's a touchdown, but they haven't quite.
I think the one in the middle has. Can I confirm that's a touchdown? Maris? It is a touchdown for the Burners again.
Touchdown, Brunel.
Again, nothing too flashy. I mean, it's like Brunel. They'll try flash. Flash doesn't work.
Back to normal, back to bread and butter.
Grit. Grit.
That's what I
right
like
up
about
the middle.
The Burners always never seem to have to try anything too spectacular. You know, when things don't work,
like,
just go back to the bread and butter, and it usually does work.
I feel like the Burners want to try something spectacular, but then it's like, oh, okay, we're just going to do, you know, hard-nosed football instead of...
A lot of my experience when I was playing, it was, you know, the first couple of games of the season, there's no need to try anything spectacular because everybody's rusty anyway, you know.
Yes.
If we're rusty, it's not going to work. And if they're rusty, we don't need to anyway because we've run the score up by 40 or 50 already. But when you get to this sort of business end of the season, you know, there's a time to run new plays, and it's probably not in January when you first come back from Christmas because everybody's rusty again. And then when you get to sort of this time of season, if your season's still alive and theirs isn't.
So going for 2. Giving it to 38, and that looks to be good, and it certainly is. So 37-8 is the score.
88 who's got the ball, in fact. Who I don't have.
Was it not 38?
Nah, it's 88.
Okay.
And I don't have a.
Oh, you're right, that is 88.
Yeah, we don't have an 88 on here, so Ocho, whatever his name is.
Ocho. Oh, gosh. So 4th quarter, and the score is pretty big now.
37-8. One more score and it'll be a running clock, but I don't see it being a running clock.
I don't see it.
I don't really see another score happening in this game. I see maybe a score happening, but
I mean, especially if you're Brunel now and you're...
Yeah, I think Brunel will probably...
Start rotating players. Obviously, you have to get players ready now. You know, playoffs come about. You don't want to be left by the wayside, left behind the sticks when it comes to having injuries and experience and players.
100%. I think this sort of business end, last quarter of the regular season, this is the worst time to lose a player. So in a moment like this, if I was a rookie, I'd be begging to get on kickoff. Kickoff is headhunting. It's headhunting hour. This is the opportunity for these rookie players, anyone who hasn't seen the field. And I see a couple of numbers here that we haven't called out so far, and a couple of jerseys that are crisp.
I mean, you look at number 24's jersey. That is a bright jersey.
Yeah, he's not seen the field today. 35 as well. He's not seen the field.
Look at how clean number 24's jersey is.
Clean on a surface like this.
I'm going to pay attention to what number 24 does on this.
I'm looking at 24 and 35 because I don't think any of them are. And they're quite bunched up in this corner as well, so it'd be interesting to see what happens. Oh, somebody got taken out. Somebody else got taken out.
24's looking. 24's being blocked. I mean, a good tackle there.
Yeah, I see 35 got bumped into someone, lost his balance a little bit. 55 was on the floor, 24 was running around somewhere. I've got names for these guys, I'm just calling out numbers. I don't know why I'm doing this. 24, Louis Simon, finally gets onto the field. I saw his name earlier and I remember calling out his name when I printed off this sheet. You know, we've got numbers and names and guys everywhere, and Jerry was on the floor, and I know that he wasn't knocked down on the floor. He just took a nap because he wanted to. We've got Syria Tarchisius.
So here we go.
Number 35.
First and 10 for the Brighton Panthers.
Is in at corner for his first rep. So numbers are being rotated.
So, man in motion. Flag flies.
Yeah, full start. 21, Shaquan Braithwaite. Very, very hungry there. I see him following the guy on the motion and then taking the guy out just there.
Oh, jeez Louise. Motion again from Brunel of Brighton, sorry. QB's going to take it. Oh, no, he's not going to take it himself.
Throws a helicopter up in the air.
Flag on the play, though.
Pass interference on Nigel Kith, number 19. Who is our captain today? He is the captain today. Now, this being the 4th game between these two teams in history, 2nd this year and the 1st game on Site 5 in about 6 years, 7 years maybe. The aggregate score between these two teams overall in these 4 games so far, we're looking at about 97 to 19. So a field goal would make it 100 for the Burners.
What if I got a feeling that you want to go and tell him that? Trying to get the Burners to jump. Loss of point in, but no flags. Rocker just deals it there, but we need to a sea of Burners that, you know, just couldn't find their hands around it, but they're more than happy to attempt and dive for the ball.
A lot of dives for the ball. This one there, this caught me off guard because this player here, that receiver on the far side was wide open, had 2 defenders in the middle because that ball was quite low thrown. If that was floated over the top like the previous 2 passes, we're looking at potentially a completion and a long run. But it just seems to me that the QB is not on the same page as these receivers. Now, maybe it's because the Burners' defense has been swarming all afternoon and has made it difficult for the quarterback. It has obviously forced him to try and think of different things. It is freezing cold and I really want a cup of tea.
Yes, it's very, very cold now. 2nd and 10. Brooker is scrambling. He gets it off.
And it's intercepted. Nigel Kith, the captain today, with the first turnover for the Burners defense.
I mean, you're a captain and you've just got an interception. I mean, that's why you're a captain. Interception.
That's why his face was all over the pre-game
It
graphics.
certainly was, yeah. Well, it seems you might get your aggregate 100 after all, Kwame.
I mean, I'll be honest, my last year playing, I think, was Nigel's first year playing, and I remember he had a rough experience. You know, he was getting roughed up by receivers, he was getting roughed up by other DBs, he was getting roughed up by even the coaches.
What? He's getting roughed up by the coaches? What sort of operation are you running here in Brunel?
We're pretty good at hazing the new players.
Don't say that.
Not hazing, but you know.
Kwame, this is Kwame.
I do not endorse hazing. I do not endorse actual hazing.
This is Kwame.
Pretend hazing. You know, we will make sure that the players
BUCS,
know that you're not coming in here to play an easy sport.
So you're joking. How does number 22 on the outside? Flag on the play. Did get a lot of space there. So you missed to see what that flag was for. Just say you're joking. Say you're joking for me.
I'm joking.
He's joking. Look at that.
Fully joking.
Fully joking.
I got more jokes than Dave Chappelle.
Oh mate, I've been binge watching Dave Chappelle recently. I don't know why.
Do you know who I found funny recently? Quite funny. Matt Rife. Matt Rife. I've seen his some of his posts have been coming up, just been popping up.
Is he the guy with that really strong jawline?
I think so, but he's the guy he roasts the audience a lot. Like he will roast somebody where there's no place to roast somebody.
Matt Rife.
There was.
That's on Brunel.
There was a cancer patient that came in.
What the hell? What the hell?
This is no place to, like normally it's no place to, but you know when you roast somebody, but they're in on it as well. Like they're okay with the jokes, and you can tell they're okay with it because of their reaction. And if they weren't okay with it, they would have made it clear. And he says straight away, "Let me know if you're not."
I beg, whatever joke you're about to say on this live stream, I just beg you don't say it.
I'm not going to say the joke.
Okay, good.
Because there's too many.
It's trips left for Brunel.
The point
Hand
is...
off to 22. Trying to find some more outside space. He doesn't get it this time.
22.
The first and 20.
Edward Endow, is he playing running back now? Edward Endow, a defensive back, number 22.
I think so.
Seems to have switched. Unless they've changed numbers, because he is a lot shorter than Edward is, to my memory.
Yeah, number 22, just so.
I remember Edward being a bit taller than that, so I think there's a different number, 22.
You are quite far away.
True say.
Oh dear.
But yeah, the point is he makes a lot of jokes that a lot of people wouldn't dare to go because they think it's out of order. But apparently a lot of the audience are in on it and they find it funny as well. So it's the thing about being a comedian is that you've got to be very careful. You've got to tread carefully. You've got to know when it's too far and when it's not too far. And I think that guy has the balance pretty well.
So 2nd and 18 for Brunel.
Anyway.
5 in motion. Jalinski fakes the handoff. Oh, wow. And what a great tackle there by Brighton. Again, I cannot see for the life of me what number that is.
I want to say 93, but
I think that might be sure 94. That that's a 3. I haven't got a clue. I genuinely have not got a clue what number that is.
To the kit manufacturer, to the kit manager of Brighton, to anyone on the Brighton committee or
I think they know.
Kit, whoever, I'm sure they know. I would like to see what the rest of the Brighton kits look like, the other sports and other.
Do you know what?
Teams.
I'd love to know what the referees think about this. Think there might be 2-minute warning or.
I would think they have something to say because remember we did was it the Warwick game?
Yes.
That we did, and they had to change uniforms.
Yes, they had to change into Tamworth's kit.
That was it.
Maris, do you know if that was a 2-minute warning?
I hope it was, because I'm cold. I've got
no,
donuts in my bag.
We're not in Q3.
It's the 4th quarter. Surely it's the 4th quarter. It's definitely
we're definitely in Q4.
Because the 3rd quarter began when we were over the other side, and they ran into this side.
Bit of a high snap. Jalinski's got a hand on it, and he throws an absolute
weapon down to Joan Kamara.
Oh my God!
It's out of his hands.
Absolutely immense. I mean, fortunately I had the far camera on, but yeah.
He had the speed.
It was close.
He had the speed for that, and I think it just.
This is what I mean.
He met it. It just went through his hands. I think it just went through his hands. I'm trying to work out what that hat is. Oh.
It's UClan. UClan.
I could only see the logo. I couldn't see the writing.
Oh.
So I was like, red,
that's because my head's so big.
Red Rose.
Yeah.
It's a red road from. Because I know the white rose is Yorkshire, isn't it?
Yeah, then the red rose is Lancashire. Lancaster? One of those two. Yeah.
Because I have an England.
I'm not caught up on the War of the Roses.
I just know there's roses. I know
I think it's the white rose of Yorkshire, but.
I know it's definitely white rose of Yorkshire because I actually read about it recently.
But I'm not sure if it's the red rose of Lancaster or red rose of Lancashire. That's what I'm trying to familiar. So hold on a second. Brunel are going for it on 4th and 18, 20.
4th and 30.
Bunch trips on the right hand side. 5 rolls out. It's empty. Jalinski's looking for an absolute shot. Gets it out. To number 14. He's going to have some space.
Is he going to get space? Is he going to get there? He's not going to get there. He's going to get to about the 20-yard line.
Good effort.
CJ Woodstock with the tackle, forcing him out of bounds.
I mean, he's going to get down to...
Kamara gets to inside the 20.
If he had the chance, he would have had a 5th and 5, but it doesn't work like that.
And well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've been on the field where a team got.
Yes, I've been commentating a game where someone has got a 5th down. Doesn't say 5th down on the old placard, but an extra down. I think it may have been me and Mike, and we were like, hold on a minute.
What's going on
I don't think that's correct.
I know for a fact I've definitely played in a game where we got 3 downs because we played a game. We did something on 1st down. They went straight to 3rd down. Our coaches, our players, everyone was like, what the hell's going on? What's going on?
Okay, so Brooker's looking. He's got quite a lot of time as Brooker. And almost picked off.
Into the hands of Adam Rice. Practically ran the route for the receiver.
And Rice is getting berated by the players and the staff of the Burners. They are very, very unhappy with that.
Yeah, so that's why you play defence. You got to catch that. That's what happens when you're a defensive back.
So flag on the play. I was about to say, is that what happened to you?
All the time.
So flag on the play.
I've got a pick on live stream.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Brighton.
I wonder who it was on.
Gentlemen, do we know who that flag was on? Okay. Okay, no problem too. So it's on Brighton, so they're going to be heading backwards on what has become a very, very chilly February weekend, Super Bowl Sunday. Hope everyone's getting ready to watch the big game, or if you've got work tomorrow, being tired tomorrow. Thankfully, I don't have work tomorrow.
It'd be interesting to see what the coach journey back for Brighton would be like, what the vibe would be like, because, again, coming into this game, very little chance of anything.
The thing is, the vibe I get from Brighton is they're a very, very proud team. Where, like, if I'm them, I'm not making the playoffs, but I'm staying in D1. I'm a D1 team next
100%.
year. I'd be sort of happy with it. Ball through the middle, and it's picked
Braithwaite
off.
has intercepted it. He's on his way to the end zone. Sucker punch for the Brighton Panthers. That's another score for the Brunel Burtons.
Another touchdown on the board. I mean, you said earlier that Brighton should potentially attack that middle of the field. They go to attack the middle of the field, and that results in 6 points.
I promise you,
Burners.
I wasn't just trying to tempt them. It wasn't a Trojan horse comment. I actually meant that they should attack the centre of the field. I just didn't anticipate. I mean, everybody knows that Shaq is always going to be there, but I didn't anticipate that it would be so easy for them.
I mean that was a great pick six. A great
Wonderful
pick six.
I think the other thing is obviously Brighton's two strongest receivers are both on the outside. They're both outside guys. So maybe the drop-off in talent towards the inside is a lot more. Is enough for them to not even attempt to go down the middle against a team like Brunel.
There's some personnel issues from the Brunel sideline. And they're going for it. And they're across.
Officially makes it 105 points that the Burners have scored in 4 games against the Brighton Panthers.
45-8 is the score.
It beats the 43 that they put on earlier. That they put on
I mean,
7 years ago.
Okay, so I mean, we spoke about it right at the start of this game. The Brunel Burners score lines coming into this game, they were not looking hot. They were looking worrying. I feel like as we're staring down the fourth quarter now, we're partway through. I can't imagine there's much left in this game, and in fact, we are going to now have a running clock. I think you could say the Brunel Burners, this is going to be able to give them that big boost of momentum going into the playoffs.
100%. It was needed. I think that was the game. The referee just called it. They wanted the kickoff. The Burners players were annoyed they didn't get the kickoff.
I mean, we're going to wait, and that is game. I mean, seems a bit. I mean, what a way to finish the game with a pick six for the Brunel Burners. The Burners are undefeated. What a game this was. I mean, you've got to be happy with the Brighton Panthers. I think the Brighton Panthers, I mean, they stay on the D1 side. Got to be happy with that. But the Brunel Burners there, moving on to the playoffs. We don't know who they're going to play as of yet, but I'm sure we will do tomorrow, or we'll have a much better guess.
We will find out.
So, at 7:30, the rundown will join you. Say something.
Now, this season for the Brunel Burners, another 8-0, another undefeated regular season. We've seen in the past, sometimes the Brunel Burners have done this before, walked through the regular season, and when it comes to the playoffs, this is where the season really begins for the Brunel Burners. We say it every year. I've said it before when I was a player for this team, and the players and the coaches are going to be saying it again today. The season is only just beginning.
I've switched.
The season, which has started off fantastically for the Burners, and showed at a few games where they had some tight score lines. Questions were being asked. Questions are being asked of their performances. Questions are being asked of their mentality. Did they have the ability to keep their heads focused? Did they have the ability to keep the momentum going? Are they able to put the score up? Today has been a brilliant answer to that. They've managed to put 45 points up on this team. Another big win. And that puts them comfortably at the top of the table, 8-0.
But here's the thing, I don't think they're going to be walking away, unless obviously there's a surprise happening in Bournemouth versus Bristol. They're probably going to be having the second seed. Going to be interesting to see what happens, but I mean, Brunel, obviously everyone knows they want promotion. They've been on the edge a fair few times, but I mean, Bournemouth, KCL, I mean, there's some good teams left in these playoffs, but as it stands right now, Brunel.
There were some backflips that I needed to put on that camera because that was pretty impressive. But I think the Brunel Burners, I don't think they're going to be too worried about the 1 seed. They're aware that the Bournemouth Bobcats, the Bournemouth Uni Bobcats, to be specific, they're aware that the Bobcats are. You guys calling for my attention, celebrating, going crazy. But they're definitely aware. They're definitely aware that the Bobcats here are hungry for more. Tell them go home. But yeah, I mean, they're not going to be too worried about the Bobcats having a number 1 seed. The Burners know, but having at least a number 2 seed gives a minimum 2 home games in the playoffs. They're going to know that they can get these 2 home games sorted. 2 teams are going to have to come here to this absolute swamp and fight their guts out before, if the Burners are able to take it on, if the Burners and the Bobcats both win the first 2 playoff games, then it'll be 1 against 2 in Bournemouth. But that's something that the Burners and the Bobcats don't need to worry about for now.
But this is it. I mean, realistically, I feel like that game is the stuff of absolute dreams. It's the Bournemouth Bobcats. Obviously, last year not been able to get much done because of Exeter, but I mean, versus the Brunel Burners on a big journey. I mean, if that's the showdown, sorry KCL Regents, everyone else. If I get to put my dream playoff South final, Bournemouth versus Brunel at Bournemouth, inject that into my veins.
I would have to agree, because Bournemouth, I've never played against them. I've never coached against them. I have played under some of their head. I played under their head coach Steve Rains. I would love to see him at that game. I would love to see some of my former teammates, some of my former coaches. You know, it'd be an interesting game there. I know how much talent they have, as you see the head coach James Kelvin being lifted up into the air. Let me see if we can get a closer look at that.
Yeah, don't worry about our sideline camera. Okay. We've got a good camera angle. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's been a good season for Uni Ball. Brighton Panthers, I mean, they're going to be D1 next year, and truth be told, I think they're going to be dangerous in D1 next year.
They'd be quite dangerous.
I really do. I think that it's been a great season for the Brighton Panthers. I still think that they're better than their record suggests.
It'd be interesting to see who comes up from Div 2 into this division.
Well, this is it. We're going to go through some scores because we might be able to find out the answer to that question, because it looks to me that it's going to be either the Oxford Brookes University or the Sussex Saxons.
If it is Oxford Brookes, that'd be interesting, because Lancers and Brookes in the same division.
Yes.
Give me that. Give me the Lancers and the Brookes again.
Double Cavalier Cup.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and...
Hertfordshire will be strong, as usual. They'll be
exactly. Hertfordshire strong. Oxford, another team that's always dangerous. So it's going to be a tough division. But I mean, the thing is, Brunel don't want to be there.
Don't want to be there at all. They all want to be in the division above. Year after year after year, we say it. Division, the Burners. Whenever previously, when I played and we'd play against another team, they would say, "Guys, please get promoted. We don't want to play against you again."
Yes.
It happened enough times. I think it was like Surrey and some other teams that would constantly say to us, "Please get promoted," and we would get into the playoffs and we would Dallas Cowboys it.
Yes.
And
now this is the problem. This is the problem. They are the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to give you some scores from around the league. We're going to probably have some post-game interviews with some of the players and coaches of the Brunel Burners. So the UClan Rams are currently up 27-6 against, I believe, LJMU Fury. The Sunderland Spartans are currently up against the York Centurions 15-13. I mean, I don't have any stats for you, but the Barracuda have won all their coin tosses this year, which is quite impressive. Let's see, I mean, Edgehill beat Lancaster 7-6. Uwe beat Loughborough yesterday. Durham beating Leeds. Beckett. Uwe 2, have they played today? I think they've got... Who have the twos got? Worcester, I think. I don't know that for...
Are they still in Div 2?
Yes, they are. And they unfortunately lost to the Plymouth Blitz in week 2, which put them behind. And the Plymouth Blitz currently beating Gloucestershire. But next week it'll be Aberystwyth versus Plymouth, and if Aberystwyth win, I think Bullets go up. But if Plymouth win, they go up. So half-time at Kent versus UCL, it is 0-0. Sussex and OBU, nothing from Sussex's side. Let's have a look if there's anything. Oh yeah.
Oh,
So I'm being asked to take pictures.
I said, come and take a photo. We're here. I don't even know if the microphone's still connected, but we're talking.
Yeah, so I'm.
Hey, busy. You're taking it. Pose for the camera now.
I'm just taking live.
He's just taking selfies. Yeah. I can see dog ears on you.
Still live. I'm trying to find out some scores from around the league, but no. Huh? No, mate, it's great. Good game.
Have you guys down every week? Score points against the rest of them.
This is it, right? So playoff comes around.
No.
I probably if you want to see it for the playoffs, we'll be here for the playoffs.
A word.
If you want to see it for the
We wanted
playoffs.
to-
I would like to say this is my quarterback.
Well, we'll talk afterwards.
This is the man himself.
Trying to do business.
Christian. This is my
Go
leader.
back to Facebook.
He's taking us this far.
for
Let's go.
more
He's
scores.
taken us this far. He's an amazing
Then we're gonna
QB,
go.
and I love him very
And what
much.
I'm gonna do, if you,
I don't need to score,
ladies and gentlemen, if
but
you
he
want to
did.
contact me about anything,
I'm here to support him. Yeah.
hang on.
No.
Yeah, we're here. We did that.
Undefeated.
Yeah, we're still on.
Undefeated.
Job's not finished.
Job is not finished. We're waiting for you. We're waiting for you. We're gonna hammer you.
I'm I did. Are we live? Am I talking? Or
We're still
are
live.
you,
Yeah,
are
we're
you,
talking.
Are you interviewing? Or
Yeah,
how's
we're
this
interviewing.
going? All right.
Right. So Brunel Burners, 8-0, finally done it, top of the table again. How does it feel?
Feels fantastic. Especially a lot of work was put into this season. A lot of trials and tribulations with the weather, with the mud bowl, as you can see. Lovely field conditions today. But and we rallied. This team's one strong family, man. And then 8-0. That's no easy feat, especially to beat all these teams twice. So looking forward to a strong run in the playoffs. Simple as that.
Definitely. How would you say the change coming from coming to here, coming from America, different culture maybe, the sport obviously growing over here, how would you say it's been sort of adjusting to a different sort of landscape?
It's definitely been adjusting, taking the time obviously to adjust. There's this thing called weather here, and they don't have that in California, so that's not really a factor at all. But honestly, it's really much the same. Everyone here is just as passionate as the guys back home, and with that, it makes coaching, it makes implementing like playbook and also executing things on offense, defense, and special teams makes that super easy, and it also makes it easy to win when guys want to have that drive. Simple.
100%. Are your hands cold? Is it harder to throw the ball in the cold?
No, I'm not cold. We just won a game. We ready. We ready. Simple as that.
Better stay ready. We've been ready.
Yeah, been ready. Job's not finished. Everyone's heard that quote a lot of time, but we mean that. So we ready for the playoffs.
From a former player to a current player, well played.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate
Best of
your
luck for the
time.
playoffs.
Please, we gotta get we gotta get tied.
The scorer himself, the scorer of many touchdowns, the man himself, the kicker, the one who scores all of the points, pretty much. How does it feel to be pretty much a Swiss Army knife of this team, undefeated and just always at the scene of success?
So it's a great feeling, but I just have to shout out my teammates. Shout out to all the coaches, shout out to my boys. They're the reason why I'm in this position to succeed. They do all the dirty work. I just put it in, you know what I mean? So that's it.
How would you say sort of the vibe going from previous seasons where we've known, obviously, Burners have always been one of the favourite teams, but unable to get it done at the final hurdle? Would you say there's been a difference this year? Obviously, we've had some tough games, but putting up a big score like this at the end of the game is obviously going to give you guys a lot of confidence. Would you say there's a real difference in the attitude for this year compared to previously?
Yeah, like we've had a whole culture shift here at Brunel. So obviously I've been here for the last 2 years, and we've always been a team that's been quite a good team, but we've never just been able to have enough to just get over the edge kind of thing. We've been our own downfall, that's really what it is. And then Coach James came in, head coach for this season, and just completely shifted that narrative and just said, guys, we're going to start from afresh, we're going to lock in, and we're going to move forward. So we've just been having that game-by-game attitude, so that's all I can say.
Definitely change the attitude and get rid of the complacency.
Who do we want? Anybody.
Don't matter.
Anybody. Anybody. Bees up, bees up.
Anyone else? I've got a question for you guys, actually. I've got a question for you.
Question for you, talk to me.
Who's winning tonight? Chiefs or Eagles? Who you got?
Is that even okay, first of all, G-L-E-S, Eagles! Hell no. Let me keep her a buck. Simple as a 3P. Let's not lie to ourselves. A 3P. Pat Mahomes is going to win the Super Bowl again. Thank you very much.
You heard it from AB himself. You heard it from AB himself. You heard it from the Birders themselves. 8-0 into the playoffs. Anyone they can get, anyone they want, they're ready. Hey, I mean, whatever it is, the Brunel Burners 45-8 win over the Brighton Panthers. It's been a fantastic day. As you can see, the field is absolutely ruined. As we said earlier, it would have been completely destroyed. But this is what we're here for. You know, football, winter, Super Bowl's on tonight. The playoffs are coming. Everybody's happy. I think that's the most thing. The rundown tomorrow at 7. 7:30, not 7 o'clock, not 8 o'clock, 7:30 tomorrow. Live streamed, hosted by Tebs, SJ, and all the rest of the gang. Make sure you watch it, make sure you're there. But for now, it's a goodbye from me, it's a goodbye from Tebs. Come to the screen and say goodbye. They can't see you from behind the camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've only got one more week of the regular season. We do not know who is streaming next week, but we will be streaming someone next week. So, rundown. 7:30 tomorrow. Have a great Super Bowl. Don't get too drunk like I'm about to. So if you want to contact me about anything Uniball related for the next 24 hours, don't. We will see you tomorrow for the rundown. Thank you very much, Kwame. Thank you very much, Brunel. Thank you very much, Brighton. What's the score? 45-8? 45-8. The scoreline here today in Uxbridge, Super Bowl Sunday. The Brunel Burners 45, the Brighton Panthers 8. Woo! Just as it starts to rain.